In the city, I know that it's killer be killed, eater be ate, snake to be snake. I walk all alone, but I'm clutching my drink, cause I know they ain't right and I know that they fake. And I'm trying to look tough, but I know that these niggas be snitching and pointing me out to the jakes. When I gun at a nigga, I don't aim for his waist, I'ma make sure he hit and stand over his face. Now they take that they mad cause they don't got no case in this first 48 and they ain't got no lead. While me and Lil Bro, we back smoking on cheese. When you break down the wood with that bitch, now we're lean. When I'm smoking your partner, I turn to a fiend. I ain't throwing the doobie, I'm facing the weed. When I'm smoking your partner, I turn to a fiend. I ain't throwing the doobie, I'm facing the blunt. No cap, let hummus some rats. When it's time to go kill, while black on the hunt. We do shit out movies, but this ain't a stunt. Wrong move, turn this bitch to a scene. I high off the shrooms and I mix it with beans. Wide awake, seeing shit from my dreams. Moving slow cause I'm full of the lean. Catch the boy lacking, turn his to a green. I'ma tell you the truth, I'm high as a bitch. I'ma lie to the judge cause I'm never asleep. I'm rapping and trapping till I'm old and rich. I'ma buy me some land and duck off with my bitch. Tryna sort out my price and get found in the ditch. With a face full of maggots, a hat full of mud. I don't care what you reppin', don't call me your blood. Put in work for the set, they gon' die by the cuz. Tryna get up your name, you gon' die by some buzz. I was just in the trenches, I know where I was. All it take is one Drake, man, them bitches went wild. I was down on my dick, I just still in our car. I'll pop a few bosses to send me to Mars. When I woke up in jail, I had to take a little pause. You a change on your gang, I'll die for the cause. No cap, I'ma die for the cause.
Get back a motherfucker.
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Slump Knows show. Brother Slump is in his dressing room. He is still doing what he needs to do in order to come and speak to you all today. I am Madame Porco. This is the Sonia Quarters. Today, I hope you all have your pencils and your papers because Brother Stomp is going to talk to us today about the Corporate Transparency Act. Brother Slump is going to talk about irrevocable trust, high yield savings, and he's got a nice theory about if our things will be illegally seized, okay? Now, if it were not for one of our giraffes, named All Doves, the Sonia Quarters has a pet giraffe, high up there. His head is always very high above everyone else's. Then we would have just came whenever Brother Slump came out of his dressing room. You guys would not have to deal with me, However, the giraffe just kept coming in here saying, "You're late, you're late, you're late, you're late." Okay? That's what the giraffe did. So, I am here to entertain you all, I guess, until Brother Slump comes. Are you all ready? Are you all ready? Is there anyone that's listening? Yep, that's right. That's you. Look at the giraffe. Look at the giraffe. This is our giraffe, Mr. All Dub 6764. If you guys ever see him anywhere, just say hello, Sonia Quarter Giraffe Dubs. Okay. Now, with having the lineup that Brother Slump intends to use, is there anyone down there that has an irrevocable trust? Is there anyone in the listening audience that has an irrevocable trust? If two vegans are arguing, is it considered beef? If I time you out or block you, could you still say stupid stuff like that? I don't think so. Is there anyone in the listening audience that has an irrevocable trust? Is there anyone in the listening audience? If you have an irrevocable trust, drop trust in the comments. If you are listening on the replay, follow along, okay? If there is anyone in the listening audience that has a high yield savings account, just drop high yield in the comments. Okay. We're just trying to see who knows what. And do any of you know anything about the Corporate Transparency Act? Anything? Nobody? So Slump will be educating us all today, right? Right? Okay, great. So, if I were you, again, if you didn't know what the Slump Knows show is, and you don't have your pencil and you don't have your paper, if I were you, hi, Cooley, how are you? Welcome home. Welcome home. Make sure y'all got y'all pencils and your paper, because what you're about to get is worth more than $1 billion worth of gain. Okay? And you're going to get it here absolutely free, courtesy of our brother, Sonia Slump. I just renamed him and everything. I done renamed him. My good sis, Miss T, she's always the first one. Always the first one here. Always the first one here, unlike all Dubs, who only comes in later to talk crap. Hello to the both of you. And then we've got Sexy Black, okay? She's a Sonia Quarter affiliate. She's a Sonia Quarter associate. She comes and hangs out with us every now and then. I don't want to talk about too much. As you all know, the Sonia Quarters is under attack. Thank God for copper-skinned, woolly hair Jesus, that we have the best of intentions, and we base our information on facts. So the attack that we undergo. Hi, D. Jones. Welcome home. Welcome home, you little short hair shorty. Welcome home, you little short hair shorty. D. Jones, I do apologize, but your wrench, according to the Sonia Quarter bylaws, I'm going to have to snatch it. So I'm going to need you to spend a little change and get your little membership, okay? Okay? It's people like you who get me in trouble. Y'all get me in trouble with my members, because I be wanting y'all to enjoy the good content when they be saying, close it, madam, shut it down. Lock the door. Lock the effing door. I'm going to get that clip. I need that clip. Somebody clip that from the Queens of Comedy some more, when she was saying lock the door. Yeah, I need that. Yeah, so we appealed it, you guys, and YouTube agreed. My hair is the longest in the chat right now. Today is not Delusional Mondays. That was the weekend. You're lying. Today is not Delusional Mondays. It's Slump Knows. Okay, we're talking about facts today. We're talking about facts, and that's just not a fact, and you know it. Okay. Since the last time we've gathered, there has been a lot. And somebody show me how to do the copyright claim. Okay. Somebody need to show me how to do the copyright claim on the back end. We have work to do. We have much work to do. I've got a plethora of emails from YouTube. And Madam needs a secretary, one knowledgeable in the guidelines of YouTube. Okay, we've got much work to do, much work. But anyway, it was a lot going on since the last time we gathered, right? So, what do you guys think about us having a little news show later? Yeah, we'll talk about the sector, talk about what's going on. Also, oh shoot, never mind. Here's Slump. I don't have to keep talking to y'all. Hello, brother Slump.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, sis. I apologize for my tardiness here. I looked down and seen that I ain't had no squares, and hell no, I had to make some accommodations real quick. I do
That
apologize, family. I do apologize.
that's
Good
okay.
morning. Good morning.
It
How are
was
you?
only the giraffe all dubs that had a problem. He's the only one that had an issue. Look at him.
Oh yeah, bro. No, we gotta be
Everybody.
punctual. That's understood. Charge it to my head, not my heart, man. Uh, So, how are you today? First and foremost, how are we feeling this morning? Did you have a good weekend? What's going on?
All is well. All is well.
That's what's up. That's
Last
what's up.
week, I don't know if y'all could tell or not, but I used y'all. I used y'all because I was in a slump, and so I
Oh,
used y'all to pick me up some hours out of the days. But yesterday, that wave, grief comes in waves, and yesterday that wave went away, and I'm back okay today. So,
that's
mhm,
good. That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad that you are in upbeat spirits, and that's definitely a good thing because we have no reason to frown over yonder way. You know what I'm saying? We got to be
absolutely,
always positive. Our aura got to be positive because we have no room for negativity to seep in our pores at all. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
It's too much going on in the world right now. So we need to make sure we can maintain our sanity and our stance as far as being leaders in our communities, in our circles. We each and every one of us is we the shit in our own toilet. So we need to make sure we stay that way and make sure that we are upbeat for those other people that are dependent upon us. So my weekend was pretty good. I was able to get out a little bit and get outside, so to say, and made a new friend, so to say. Um,
a lady.
yeah, she fine as fuck. I ain't gonna lie to you. Uh, I ain't gonna lie to you. She is beautiful. But definitely I was able to get to know a new acquaintance and yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We'll see where they go. We'll see where they go. Uh
so what
uh
you're saying is you got you some cutty from a new beauty this weekend.
no ma'am, I'm not saying that. No ma'am, no ma'am. It was
Oh, she's a
definitely
lady.
yes, most definitely. Yes, most
Oh, I
definitely.
like that. I like the
I,
sound of
I had
that.
to. I most definitely had to hit her with the Charlie Wilson. The Charlie Wilson. I had to hit her with the Charlie Wilson. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was
and I
wondering if I could take you out, show you a
most
good
definitely,
time. I
most
like that.
definitely, I most definitely had to. And luckily, she had time for me because she was coming from the hospital. She was coming just getting off. She's a LVN. Uh, and let me be a little bit mannish for my bros in here. Dubs, you know, a guy that's got some thighs and is banging when she got thighs and she banging in the screw. Do you hear me? Straight up, straight up.
Them
You got
scrubs
those.
do us justice. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, but then at the same time though, you got those scrubs where the t-shirt ain't fitting, but it fit your pant, your hips and below. But then you got them, they got the top of the scrubs that fit their upper body, and then the lower body, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, they be baggy.
Do
Mm-mm.
you understand me? You know,
They
and
be
she was,
a bad waste of screw.
yeah, she was deadly fitting the occasion. Goddamn me, for sure. I definitely had to acknowledge her beauty and acknowledge her aura and see what she was talking about, and I was able to, you know, subside her with a quick meal, prevent for her having to cook for herself, and going home, and I was able to provide her with a meal or whatever. And we had a nice introductory conversation about each other and what we wanted each other to know on the first time. And then, it ended with a exchange of numbers and her looking forward to speak to me in the future.
Love
So that was
that.
very, very enlightening, very
That
enlightening. So
deserves the bell.
yeah, most definitely.
So would you
You and
call
it.
that spot 'em, got 'em?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet. Even though I can't say that, I'm not gonna say that yet because it got to be two ways. I gotta be fully, invested as well as she has to be fully invested and more. You can't really too much tell nothing on the first,
Right.
uh,
Right.
first inception. It
Well,
wasn't
my
no.
fingers are crossed.
Hmm.
My
Say
fingers
it
are
again.
crossed. My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping that it's good.
Well, yeah, we always hope for the best.
Hmm.
But bro, picky as fuck. I don't give a damn what the
As you should
situation
be.
might be. Bro, picky.
As you
Um,
should be. You've got to be protective of your essence. When you know who you are, you you know what you bring to the table, then you absolutely have to be selective with who you share your essence with. So,
sure, for sure. Um, so let me do this. Enough of the smile talk. I'm gonna go ahead and go into our segment for today. Did you get that link from me,
I
Miss
absolutely
Wayne?
did. Would you
Okay,
like
don't
to
bring
pull
that
it up
up.
now or
That
just
No, not right now. But bring
okay?
it up at just have it ready. I'm just gonna point out some things on there to support that it is a such thing. So
Okay.
will.
And what did you think
So
about just real quick? And I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go to the background and let you run the show. What did you think about those flying objects I sent you that I spotted from my backyard?
mm, definitely drew my attention. And I'm glad you brought that up. That drew my attention. And we gonna talk about that after this
After,
because
okay.
I'm a piece together what I found after you sent me that.
Ooh,
Because we all know that those orbs are not planes, they're not this, they're not that. But I also found that it could be a possibility of something else. Because a lot of uh, people that are just crossing over to the understanding that there is a rabbit hole, they automatically say, "Oh, this is that." Well, I'm gonna give you another possibility of what it could be. And I'm
okay.
almost certain that it could possibly be one or two things. Because, my initial thought, I was there. I initially said they were drones. Um, so I went to looking at some more sites of people clipping what they are seeing, similar orbs and things of that nature in the sky, because people are seeing them everywhere. But I also ran across something else from a whistleblower that disappeared after he stated that this was going on. So I'm gonna go back into that too. So don't
Okay.
let me forget that.
All right. All
Uh,
right.
yeah, this live here is gonna be an action packed live. I consider it to be a legendary live because the information that I'm gonna be giving right now is going to literally um, opened up some interest for you guys to do some further research on your end. And my job is just to bring cows to it to let you know they hiding shit from us. And, you know, if I could plant that seed of doubt in some standard form of brainwash that we've been given throughout our lives, and if it's enough to get you to go look for yourself, and I mean really go look into it yourself, then I've done my job. Because our thing over here in the quarters is we're research and development. We have our own brain, and we're very open to thinking outside the box. Because ultimately, if you stay in the box, you get buried in
Hmm.
it.
Hello, Shawanda. So I'm gonna hand you the floor. You are streaming on the community wall for all to see. You are streaming on StreamYard and you are streaming on Twitch. So the world is yours.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Um, Again, good morning to the family. Good morning to the sector and everyone else that is partaking in this live this morning. Thank you to my sister, Madame, for setting up this segment in the quarters to where I can actually express some information that I believe to be informational and positive and proactive to the growth of those who are willing to accept. And just want to make sure I can get something out there to get people to thinking, because my whole point is to, you know, help with growth and possibly putting you in a better situation than you in right now. Miss T, my other sister that's in the chat, salute to you. I want to give you some insight on your question about trust. I'm going to go into a few because there are literally thousands of trusts. I'm exaggerating, but there are multiple trusts for multiple uh, reasonings and multiple purposes. What I will do is I will use my personal situation in this. No, I'm not doxing myself, but this is what it is. I recently had a side business venture that I had with a associate of mine um, that ultimately came crashing down due to malpractice on his end, where the feds did get involved with it. I'm not afraid to say, because it's a learning experience for now. And it did spark up, in my mind, a reasoning for restructuring. So any other normal person would have just gave up and been a Debbie Downer about it. But me being from where I'm from, hustler mentality, being from the streets, and dealing with worse and being able to see death in person, I know that there's always worse. So with that mind frame, that keeps me going. However, in this specific situation, I had the incorrect structure in place for things that I had available to me. I had the situation where my associate committed business malpractice, and I need y'all to understand that I'm not using big words or different words to sound smart or nothing. I'm using specific words to prevent keyword pinging on here. Yes, I did go that far as to ensuring I'm using correct verbiage. So again, he did commit business malpractice without my knowledge. Unfortunately, with the way that things were structured, it is the same as being tried together with someone else. Let me put it like that. So if you get tried with another person at the same time. This is basically the situation I got caught up in with my associate. The only thing that prevented me from doing time was the fact that he admitted to the malpractice, and there was not anything connecting me to the knowledge of the actions that was taken. So let me put it like that. Now, in that situation, I did get hit hard with specific accounts being frozen and seized. And in this situation, the only thing that wasn't took was assets that I had in my spendthrift trust. I had a separate spendthrift trust that has still to this day the control of assets, digital and etc. that I have for my kids, grandkids, great grandkids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going into all that because I ain't in y'all business, but I have assets into that spendthrift trust. So luckily with that being done correct, it dawned on me to know that, hey, I didn't do everything wrong. I did do this right. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give a real brief explanation to what trusts are easily explained, what trusts that you should look into, and just know, by no means, I am not an advisor. I'm not a CPA, attorney, professional, or anything like that. This information that I'm giving is specifically for educational or entertainment purposes only. Make sure, Ms. T, that you do seek an estate planning attorney with this knowledge to ensure that you're following mainly by the guidelines for your state, because everything I'm going to tell you is literally by the guidelines for federal, so you ain't got to worry about that. But there are some things that might hang you up state-wise, which again, an estate planning attorney will guide you in the best, excuse me, in the best direction that you're wanting to go for your specific situation. I will say that the estate planning attorney is going to charge you from $2,000 to $5,000 for the consultation and possibly to get started. It is a costly process, but if you think about it, doing this is going to save you much more money for your specific situation and what you plan on building for your legacy in the end. So it really ain't nothing but a quarter change in the glove compartment, if that makes sense. So everybody done heard about Rockefellers own nothing, control everything. Yeah, that is what that is. Own nothing, control everything. The elite's been doing and implementing strategies in place that subside for this own nothing, control everything since way back since the beginning of the United States. Now, I'm going to expose something to you that was exposed by one of our own, and I mean one of our own Black folks. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you non-guarantor, irrevocable, revocable, complex, discretionary, and spendthrift. These are all aspects of trust that you can apply for whatever aspect of life you want to. If you have a business that you want to place in a trust for whatever reason, you can do so. If you have money, crypto, etc., you can use these trusts for protection. My main thing for using this trust in the beginning was to ensure that I could have something to give to my kids, regardless of what type of law change that happened, and ensure that it was protected from monetary gains. I am a cheapskate, so I don't like spending money just for the hell of it. I'm not no rapper that would go out and spend 30, 50,000 a day or 40, whatever. I'm not that type of dude. I'm not that type of nigga. I don't, even though I am well off and I'm doing pretty damn good for myself to being a single father, I am not finna go spend 100K on no Benz. I'ma still hop my ass to the fucking auction and go see if I can find me a Benz and pay $6,000-7,000 for it. I'm just being 100. Every aspect of my life, I continue to be that of a cheapskate. Shout out to Mama Slump, rest in peace. I learned a lot of my money saving attributes from her. And I mean, when you are raised on Social Security, $700, $800, $900 a month, you gonna use them coupons. I mean, there's been plenty of days where I've seen my mom on a Saturday morning go in there and get the clipping on them coupons to go to Mean Yards, go to that was back before Walmart was a grocery store, really, you know what I'm saying? Back when Kmart was hitting hard, before Kmart really disappeared. But back in those days, you know what I'm saying? So, those coupons actually, as a kid, you're not really thinking about, hey man, why we doing this? But it saved money. And compared to now, everybody and their mama is coupon searching. You got your different apps that you're downloading to your phone, Family Dollar. Hey, you keep shopping here. You use this. You accrue points. You can get a free vacuum cleaner or broom or whatever the case might be. But nowadays, it's that easily accessible. So we want to make sure also that we are doing what we can to save every penny that don't need to go out the pocket, period. You know what I'm saying? You ain't too hood or too much of a baller or balling or paper chasing to, use a buy one, get one free jumbo jacket, Jack and the Crack. I'm just saying. So, again, non-guarantor, revocable, irrevocable, complex, discretionary, and spend, thrift, trust. These are all separate aspects that you can combine with different clauses to ensure that you are protective or using that specific entity for your benefit. Now, this setup is a proven protection for assets, literally. Earlier, I said one of our own used this setup and is proven that it works. Who is that? You might be saying right now, who is that person? None other than O.J. Simpson. Yep, I said it. I'm not going into the murder part of the thing. It is what it is. The glove didn't fit, whatever. But everybody knows that after he was acquitted, that the Goldman family did sue him for wrongful death, and they were awarded $33 million. But it took them 20 plus years later. They've been stuck in trying to acquire their money. He's dead and gone and all of that. And people are wondering, well, what happened to that? Well, that was similar. There was a mix of a civil and eminent domain lawsuit. The eminent domain lawsuit is what they were using, the tactic that the Goldsman defense was using. And unfortunately, with the way O.J. Simpson had his business set up, hashtag Kevin Hart, everything was protected. And they had a hard time. It took 20 plus years, hard time acquiring that judgment. Now, I'm going to double back. Madam, I need you to come up here real quick.
Here I am.
Okay. remember what you showed us, the family, about the data centers, right? That are popping up
Correct.
everywhere, and the data centers are offering, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, to people. And some people are accepting, and some people are denying, right?
Correct.
I want you to listen to this. So,
Okay.
for these people that are coming in with the data centers, they are eventually going to pursue an eminent domain lawsuit toward anybody that they've made an offer to that don't accept.
So, what happened was in the state of Louisiana, the Supreme Court here just ruled that they aren't allowing it's unconstitutional. Cannot use eminent domain to take our land for their projects.
Excellent, 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 excellent. I'm glad to hear that because there do have to be a judgment in place for that. Those eminent domain lawsuits go pretty lopsided. Example, railroads. Those railroads, Department of Transportation,
Right.
man, that was an
So
ugly
so they
situation.
did that historically, right? With the railroads, with schools, with I've got old newspaper clips where they used eminent domain to build this country, basically. However,
Hmm.
now that
Hmm.
it is affecting the Homestead Act beneficiaries, they are fighting, have
Okay.
fought, and in the state of Louisiana have won.
Okay, cool, 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 cool. I didn't go for that far and deep with it because I want to stay on this. I want to stay on the track, but I did want to bring that up because I did. They did pop up. So that is definitely a good thing. So cool. We can kill two birds with one stone there. All right, I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna get back on the subject. Um, now with this eminent domain lawsuit that they attempted to hit OJ Simpson with, it brings up, I mean, everybody that's, looking at visible and not looking at what's behind the curtains would be like, oh well, what's going on? He's part of the elite, he's Illuminati, blah blah blah. No, that this is what actually is a structure that he was advised to use. Plus, there's a lot of tax benefits in this. Now, a lot of people say that trust will eliminate taxes. In certain aspect, it does, but ultimately, it reduces because ultimately, the way that I have planned on having my structure set up now, which I'm actually in the midst of doing, and I'm at the tail end of it. I'm going to be getting all of my payments through the business side, the business beneficial trust side of things, to where the taxable business income can go from anywhere from hundreds of $1,000s on down to nothing, little or nothing, basically. The best way to explain it is, you know how you have people that are IRS debt collection uh, analysts, where they reduce your back taxes or taxes that are owed. You might owe 100 and some $1,000, but all you got to do is pay. At the end of the day, pay 3,000. Well, that the business trust is set up to do that, just that. You don't want to get all the way off the radar because ultimately you'll get on the radar trying to get off the radar. And I'm gonna go into that a little bit later on with the Corporate Transparency Act that caught my attention in all of this too. But just going a bit further into these non-guarantor, irrevocable, revocable, complex, discretionary, and spendthrift. Each one of these different trusts separately has provisions and clauses to where passive income could possibly be a non-taxable event, such as investment income, such as royalties, rental income, lease income, oil and gas, minerals, wink, wink, etc. You also have a separate aspect of it called capital gains tax. And this one is big because you could have a trust set up to where your capital gains is non-taxable event also, which investment properties. You can either sell a business or have a sale of business qualify under a provision to where it could reduce or eliminate your tax liability. And also even crypto, with crypto being a risen form of income now, digital asset, which also falls into that. So, and then of course, again, as I stated before, you got the business tax, which your business really works with your trust and it reduces the taxable income to it. That's where you have all of your acquisitions consolidated down into a specific funnel where you might be bringing in $1.5 million plus a year, but ultimately, after everything is said and done, with the contractual definitions of where each benefit falls to, you might only end up having to pay 10, 20, 25 grand, if that, possibly lower. Now, going into each one, you have a revocable trust. That's the one that everybody hears about. That's the trust where you're in full control of everything, but you're using your social security number on that, which means you're the owner of the trust. You allocate the funds out. You acquire the purchases in property into that, but your name is on it. That's what you don't want. You're easily accessible. You want to reduce tax liability and become lawsuit proof at the same time. Mainly the lawsuit proof deal is the main thing. You want to make sure that everything that you done built over the course of your life is not taken from you because of one event that didn't happen in your life, whether it's your fault or not. Now, the irrevocable trust is a little different. This means that all of your assets are sold into the trust. A sale of any asset is done on a cost price basis, so it's not capital gains or a capital gains tax event at all. Like literally, it's a cost price event. It's not anything. So if your house is worth 100,000, you get 100,000. That's what it is. And then this trust will own everything. Will own everything, but you'll control everything. This is literally the irrevocable where once it's done, it's done. The only way you can get your assets back in your name is if the trust itself sold it back to you. But then again, why would you want your trust to sell something back to you where you would have to pay taxes at the end of the year for whatever it sold to you? If that makes sense.
So this is the one that we should get. Is this the one that you suggest we get?
It's the one that I suggest you do research on to put that at the top of the list. The one that you should
Right.
be looking into and do further research into getting, depending upon your situation. See, the main thing is everybody's situation is not going to fit the same structure. The problem is everybody
Right.
else that is bringing this out is saying that it's one template for it. No, it's not one template for it. If it was one template for it, then everybody would be on that one template. It wouldn't be a secret. No, there are literally multiple trusts out there and trust formats and structures that you can implement. You can mix multiple trusts for the benefit that for whatever your situation is. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? What I will say though, the spendthrift trust, you want to have that's the one you want to have for sure, because no, no,
SPINTHRIFT.
no.
SPEND.
SP, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then thrift, like thrift store.
Okay.
You want an aspect, whether it's you want that whole trust to be a spendthrift trust, or whether you want it to have a you might want to have an irrevocable trust that has a spendthrift provision in it, or you might want a complex trust that have a spendthrift provision in it. You want whatever trust you decide to get, you need to have spendthrift in it. You need to have a
Okay.
spendthrift provision in it, because the spendthrift trust or provision is what protects your assets.
Oh,
That,
okay.
that's what prevents people from suing you or taking your property or everything from you. Like, see, if I would have had everything connected to with a spendthrift clause in it in the beginning with my situation, I wouldn't have had no freezes, no none of that stuff. I didn't have everything connected to that. I only had a separate personal spendthrift trust for my kids and all of the assets I was putting aside for them. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
that's why that one touched it all. It makes sense.
Absolutely. And I
It-
appreciate you for clearing that up for me.
yes. And another thing, like I said, make sure y'all go see a attorney, a estate planning attorney, because they will, again, depending on the state that you're in. I don't know what excuse my language. I don't know what sub standards that each state has. I know in Texas it works, and I know in California it works. I know in Miami it works, but I don't know each other state. I've seen situations in Florida and and in California, in Texas. I know it works for myself with the way I restructure or plan on restructuring everything. So now, with that being said, you have discretionary. The discretionary is where the trustee has 100% control of the trust. You can add and move around as you see fit, but you are a trustee when you're talking about discretionary. You don't own that. The trust is placed in a third party's name or third party entity. That's the whole point of this. Is, hey, I'm suing Madame for $100,000 for giving me a sex product that ultimately messed me over. I can't have kids no more.
Right, right,
Example.
right.
Oh, you can't touch my business because my said business is, I'm a trustee of said business, and contractual law is between trust, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense?
Correct.
This makes you the trustee, and it expresses that the contractual relationship is with a trust with that spendthrift provision, which leaves you can't sue me, the living person, madame. Once that is expressed, 9 times out of 10, they're going to leave you the fuck alone. Because ultimately, they're going to know by legal verbiage, by terms, it ain't nothing they can do.
You
They'll
can't
be
touch it.
chasing the cat chasing the tail, dog chasing the tail. To that point.
Cool. Cool.
Now, moving on to the complex side of things. The complex side of things, you're not required to dispute or to distribute, that is, excuse my language, distribute to beneficiaries. It's the most simplest trust out there. Is I have everything in I'm the operating officer of this or trustee of this complex trust. I don't have to put anybody in the wheel if I don't want to, or anybody into this if I don't want to, because ultimately this is the type of trust that fits like mainly single kid families that only have one child.
Okay.
Even though without this is like having that and having a will in place minus the probate court type shit that you go through without one. That's basically without it. It makes it more simpler and straight to the point. And mind you, this is also put in place for those individuals that you feel are not financially literate, that you feel will blow. Hey, if you think your son or your grandkids or whoever that you plan on taking care of after you're gone, or even while you're living, if they are not financially sound for whatever the reason, you think that they're gonna fuck over the money or whatever, you put these things in place for that also, to where they have to abide by specific guidelines within their trust in order to acquire whatever benefit from it.
Okay.
You might have, I might have a equity worth $100,000. Give said benefit 10,000 when he's 20, another 20,000 when he's 25, and the rest when he's 30, or whatever you see fit. But it's structured in order to that. Does that make sense?
Correct. So if I want my daughter to be married first or finish school first, before she can
Right.
acquire these things.
Bullseye emoji.
Okay.
These are different. These are the different size and clauses of a trust that supports that specific thing. If that makes sense. And then, of course, spendthrift is what I just covered with
Awesome.
everybody. Basically, it's just 100% lawsuit proof asset protection, and it's literally 100% proof. If you set it up right, they can't fuck with you. It's 100%. It's literally 100%. Now, a lot of people might be saying the same thing. I know, family. How is this shit legal? This shit don't sound right. Like anybody can fucking do it. Well, yeah, it's legal, and I'm gonna show you how it's legal. The compliance, the compliance with IRS tax code 643B states gains from the sale or exchange of capital assets shall be excluded to the extent that such gains are allocated to corporates. And that's what's going to pretty much save you, because all funds are going to be and gains are going to be allocated to the corpus, which is the part of the trust where everything that is, you can't sue, madam. You can't, you got to go for corpus, but corpus is not a living entity, so you can't sue corpus. Does that make sense? That's just a part of the trust where that goes. And that's what that's going to be categorized as, legal term. Also, it says, and or not paid, credited, or required to be distributed to any beneficiary during the taxable year, or B, paid, permanently set aside, or used for purposes specified in section 64.2C, which I ain't going all that. I just grabbed that right there. And then the document that I sent to you, I'll explain what that is here in a minute. But that has what I'm saying now in it. And that comes from the IRS before it was sent to court to be deemed to made ruling on. Let me repeat what I'm saying. The document that I'm about to show was made from an analyst, IRS agent, to look at the specific situation and to see if that situation was taxable at all. And the findings that was in that, which is called the IRS private finding letter, that is the assessment of that IRS agent that was sent to the courts to either support or not support the ruling of. Not yet. I'm not gonna bring not yet. I'm gonna bring it up here in a minute. But not yet. But yeah, that. I'm gonna show you that in a minute. Now, trust income will be considered as extraordinary dividend. Ms. T, write this down. Trust income, whether it's net, whatever the case, trust income, minus the net or whatever I just said. The trust income will be considered as extraordinary dividend, which equals zero income in most cases. So money that is in this situation, trust income that might produce any type of funds may be considered as an extraordinary dividend, which is zero income. What does that mean, madam? That means that it ain't no money coming up out of there. It might be money in there, but it's categorized
But you
under.
can't touch it.
Exactly. It's considered something else. You know? Now, the key to all this is all passive income is allocated to the corpus, just like we just said. You're not required to distribute. That's the complex side of things. The complex trust is not required to distribute to the beneficiary during the tax year. That's what I just read. That's the clause that you can have within that trust structure that you have. And then you have, again, extraordinary dividend, which is where the trustee declares all passive income to be an extraordinary dividend, no longer considered income. So not only that's like saying you look up in the sky and be like, man, the sky is blue. Somebody else say, no, the sky is Columbia blue. Or you can look at the sky and be like, no, the sky is red. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's still income. It might be money, but it's not income.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way I can explain this. Moving income to extraordinary dividend, meaning that it's zero income to report.
Okay.
Picking up what I'm putting down as we move along. All right. These are aspects of these trust structures that you can use to reduce or even eliminate tax liabilities altogether. So not only are you moving out the way of not owning anything, any income that is incurred or withheld within that trust or produced is not even called income, it's called extraordinary dividend. If I need to slow down. Now, a lot of people at this point will say, well, that ain't true. It's even attorneys, CPAs that might say that it ain't possible. But I'm going to give you a quick fact check on some normal naysayer questions that might pop up or whatever. A naysayer might say a non-guarantor trust has to be taxed at 37% on income above $14,450. That's true. That's a whole fact. That is a whole fact. But the truth of it is, on a setup where you have the spendthrift clause, and you might have a complex trust or discretionary trust provision within your structure, it eliminates this, and that.
Right.
That statement is only true if you have a non-guarantor trust with nothing else attached to it.
Okay.
If you have a non-guarantor trust, yeah, it's still tax. That's still income. That's still taxable wages. There's a tax event within that trust. But if you slide a spendthrift trust over there, or you slide a complex, you set any part of that trust is set up in a complex manner, that's not true. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It's all about the additional clauses.
There you
It's
go.
about the
The
structuring
additional,
of it.
you correct. The additional form, the way you set things up. And again, this is going to be deemed upon your personal situation, added with whatever state you're in. I keep repeating that because it's a lot of this that can't be done in certain states. For example, you know how you can file an LLC in Wyoming and it gives you certain tax benefits,
Protection. Right.
protections. That's what I mean by this. That's exactly what I mean by this. That's just an
And that's
example.
why you started off by telling us take 2 to 5K and get an estate planning and attorney.
Correct. What he or she will inform you is the best structure for your situation. And I repeat, everybody's situation is not the same. But I will say this: the long as you have something affiliated with the Spendthrift Trust,
That one is
I can
important.
guarantee you that your assets will be 100% protected from lawsuits or confiscation. Period. Because I can say that I've been through that, and that's what I'm doing now. If that makes sense. You,
Absolutely. That's the guy. Did y'all hear that? I'm sorry, Slump. I just had to wake their ass up. I need them to know. I need them to hear this. Okay.
you,
That was
you and
important.
that, you and that damn Family Dollar damn. Oh shit! Oh shit! Right on to that.
Spend,
Uh,
thrift, trust. You need that clause, y'all. It don't matter what kind of irrevocable trust, revocable trust, discretion. You need that spend, thrift clause. Okay. All right. Now,
correct.
go ahead.
Spendthrift is the clause for asset protection. Each other aspect, whether it's non-guarantor, irrevocable, revocable, complex, discretionary business, etc., that is a specific setup for a specific situation that might benefit you or may not benefit you. It depends. But I'm explaining to you what each the generalized, summarized version what each one of them is. That way you can look into it to see if this is an aspect of protection that you can use for your current situation or what you plan on doing in your growth. Um, Another question that naysayers might say, they might say passive income is taxed by the IRS at the same rate as W-2 salaries. That is true too. That's true as hell. But again, we just went over where passive income is declared as extraordinary dividends and it's no longer income. And again, I'm going to show you on a IRS private finding letter where it is true coming from the IRS, if that makes sense. So,
Absolutely.
and then of course you got naysayers that'll say, "Ah, man, that type of trust, this type of setup is illegal." You know, no, that is all the way not true. That's all the way not true because again, the elite's been doing it for over 80 plus years. You know, and again, an example that we have all seen where it works is O.J. Simpson's estate. Period.
The juice.
Now, go ahead.
I was just saying OJ Simpson, the juice.
The juice, yes, the juice. Now, the funny thing that I found about all of this was that normally when there is a structure or whenever there is okay, so let's do it like this. So whenever there's an invention or something that is found to help humanity or whatever, before they sell it, the person that creates that puts it on a patent, right?
Right.
That's physical. Normally, invention, trial and error. If it works, patent, put it out for sale. You're the so you created that and you own that patent. But when
Correct.
you're dealing with invisible product structures, you copyright it. Verbiage, you copyright it.
Right.
For example, Birdman should have copyrighted bling bling and didn't.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? And should had he done that, that's a whole form of money. He would have been able to play all his debt off. It wouldn't be nobody mad at him. Not paying no money. That was put out there. This is what I mean by that. In matter of fact, in
Okay.
2003, this structure was copyrighted in 2003. Had the league been doing this for I don't know how long, for like I said, 80 plus years from what I've researched, from what I can see, but I know this had to be done longer than that. I mean, literally, it had to be. And think about it. If we stop at the 80 years, what was going on around that time? The Great Depression, right? Around that
So they
time.
wanted to protect their stuff.
The 16, back with the we covered the kit CK VC. Goodness. I knew I shouldn't have smoked that blunt before I did. Look, we went over the said care. I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. Where we just discussed about the trust, where from Europe, where they said that everybody was dead and in this status and et cetera, et cetera. That's where this comes in. This is part of what the elite were doing then. This is
Okay.
part of it, the structure, where it comes from, where it's derived from.
Okay.
Um, and y'all forgive me, I'm tongue tied. I am getting. I got to stay focused.
Where you
Marijuana.
drink it? Do you have some juice, some water, a little
Hmm?
now later? You ain't got no little chewy?
Shit, yes, I got a goddamn soda. That's what the fuck I got. Some
Hit
goddamn,
it.
goddamn
Hold on.
fountain
We've
drink.
been going for an hour straight. Let's just take a moment. Okay. Let's take a moment. Excuse me, everybody. My bro been talking. He done gave y'all jewels for an hour straight that could change the lives of your grandchildren. Okay.
Damn, it's been an
So,
hour. I didn't even know it's been an hour.
yeah. He has given you tools you can use that will change the lives of your lineage that you will never be alive to meet. He needs to he needs to drink some water, some soda or something, y'all. He is
I'm
not
good.
artificial intelligence, okay? He is a
Hell no,
human.
I ain't. Hell no, I ain't. I wish not to know. I don't want to be on that level no way, because some things ain't meant to be known. Um, but anyway, let's go. Let's
Let's
keep
go.
on going. All right. So there was actually two IRS agents that was involved in this. The first one was a guy named Everett Myers, and then the second lady was Jane Willis. Jane Willison or Willis. Forgive me, y'all. I should have wrote her name down, but I know it's Jane Willison, something like that. So in this specific situation, Everett Myers, he requested a copy of the setup of this specific setup to vet the setup, which means he examined the setup according to all of the IRS guidelines and gave his opinion letter, which in it he deemed this setup as credible and completely legal. Now, this is an IRS agent that has taken the situation of this structure to see and used specific IRS codes for different structures, parts of the structure, and explained that literally this structure is completely credible and legal from the IRS before they sent it to the court to deem it legal. Now, with that being said, what did that tell you?
It tells me that the court, the IRS, knew that the elites said what they said, meant what they meant, and they had to merge it because we have to find a way to protect ourselves from the commoners. Whatever we
Mm-hmm.
do, they'll try to get their piece of it. They'll try to hold us liable. And we don't want them to be able to take what we've earned, what we possess, and what we have.
That
And
is
everybody's in
100%.
agreement.
That is 100% bullseye emoji right there. Now, and mind you, this family. Mind you, this. I'm gonna tell y'all this now. Make sure you do your due diligence again on your research on your specific situation, because you will get audited once you implement this. Once they know you know, they got a problem with you. And what they will do is they will audit you and check your past tax returns in comparison to what you're doing now. And as long as you are in order before, you will be in order setting up your structure and moving forward. And they have to leave you alone. Do not allow their scare tactic to intimidate you from your freedom and your peace of mind. It is going to happen because it happened to me. And they had to leave me the fuck alone. Now, in my situation, of course, I had something else happen to me that I was easily found because of that. But as the end result, which I'm in the midst of it now, restructuring, I've gotten them out of my way. And now I'm moving on to that restructure that I'm set to do. So again, I'm going to let you know that it's going to happen. They're going to audit you. Just make sure you're right and you've been right in the past. The Corporate Transparency Act is what caused this to happen. So I'm going to go into, well, first, before I go into the Corporate Transparency Act, go ahead, pull that up for me, sis.
Sir, yes, sir.
Now, what we are about to display to y'all is an example of the IRS private finding letter, which is public information. It can be displayed. It's specific situations you have to pay. And literally, I've seen upon this research where people had to pay anywhere from $4,000 to $35,000 for this letter. Yeah,
So
when it comes
this
to
right here.
yes.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
And you giving it to them for free?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
Bro's Cash App is scrolling across the ticker at the top. If you find any of this information beneficial, drop him a little appreciation with a little note that says, "Man, nice looking." Okay.
If you choose to support the channel, for sure, that's perfectly fine. I appreciate that. I didn't have to pay for this though, but I know people have to pay for this in their own situations. When it's dealing with them, they have to pay for it, and then they don't release this until after everything has been solidified and documented and judged upon. Now, this here is an example of a IRS private finding letter from back in February of 2015, where a specific family of the deceased were trying to protect assets and monetary gains and trust structures for great grandkids.
Yeah, I see down here it says there's 8
I
great
picked
grand.
it. Yeah, I picked this one for that reason because I'm telling you, they are that much of sharks in the water smelling blood to where they try to get you your great grandkids. You understand? We got to protect our lineage with us. Now, I ain't gonna read through all of this, but I want to point out, go all the way down. Well, scroll down to let me see, keep going, keep going, keep going. Hold up, right here. Go back up. Go up one more time. Is that it? Nope. Go back up. You're going down.
To the
Go
ruling,
back up. Ruling
distributable
one.
net income.
No, not right there. We're gonna come back to that, but
Oh,
go up to ruling
what
one.
page you want me on?
I think it's on page. Where
Okay,
you
to
at?
the
You on
first
page
ruling.
8? Yeah, first ruling. Yeah.
I got you. I got you. To the first ruling. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. Now show me what is right above the first ruling. I think right above the first. Yeah, this is where I want to be. Right above the first, right here. Okay. So as you can see,
Okay.
it says requests of the following rulings. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is ensuring the exemption. Trust will continue to be exempt from GST, which GST is generational skipping transfer tax. It's a transfer of assets to the beneficiaries at least 2 generations or younger than the donor. So usually this is implement. They try to implement that tax if the donor is a recipient is 37 and a half, 38 years old, young. You know, 2 generations basically. And that's what this situation is. I pointed this situation out because again, if they trying to squeeze money out of your great grandkids, what do you think they're gonna do to you? If that makes
Mm.
sense. Um, so as you can see right here, where it says after implementation of settlement agreement, trust will continue to exempt from the GST again. That's generational transfer skipping transfer tax. Provisions of Chapter 13. We all know what Chapter 13 is, and distributions of money from the trust to great grandchild 4 and great grandchild 5. Distribution of the trust income to the other beneficiaries, and distribution of corpus, trust corpus made upon termination of trust made in compliance with settlement agreement are not subject to GST tax. That's the
Mm.
first thing. The second one is the money's distributions from the trust to great grandchild 4 and great grandchild 5 made in compliance with settlement agreement does not result in gifts for federal gift tax purposes by the other beneficiaries. Let me repeat that again. Does not result in gifts for the federal gift tax purposes by the other beneficiaries of the trust. So you see how this is only in protection of the great grandkids. There's other aspects of the trust that you want to implement to protect other people. That's why you can't just use one thing for one situation. You can't use one thing for
Right.
all situations. That explains it here.
So
Per
this is
what I
why
said,
those clauses that you were telling us about, this is where those come into play, right?
that's exactly where it comes in at. The IRS agent will administer an IRS private finding letter for each aspect of the structure. which do you pick up what I'm putting down? So this is in protection for the grandkids.
Right.
That is correct. Um, Number 3 says the funds distributed from LLC to trust made in compliance with settlement agreement is not income within the meaning of what does that say? Section code 643B, huh?
643B. So we need to see what is section code 643B.
We just covered this. 643B is what I displayed to y'all earlier of what that meant. It makes it, let's go back. Gains from the sale or exchange of capital assets shall be excluded to the extent that such gains are allocated to corpus.
Mm.
Why are you allocating those funds to corpus? Because you wanted to prevent or reduce tax liability. And then number 4 says,
So does that mean some of this stuff you won't even have to pay taxes on?
bullseye emoji. Bullseye emoji.
I
Now,
like that.
let me repeat. You know how when you're dealing with law, attorneys like to go back and say, well, I have case, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Johnson versus the state of Florida. This is the exact situation that's going on here. This is the ruling there. We're in the same state. You have to rule that same way here. When you're dealing with IRS codes, they say you cannot use this in a court of law because it's not the same situation as you're in. They're right, but they're wrong by saying that these words don't mean the same shit. Do I need to repeat that? The words that we're covering still mean the same shit and provide the same
Time for the
action.
slow people, because some people might be a little delayed.
Even though the IRS says, hey, you can't take this IRS private finding letter and use it in the court of law to support your cause. Okay, that is true because the situation that this family or this structure was in is not the same structure as I am trying to pursue. However, the same verbiage and terminology in this findings letter is still the same IRS codes and contract law that I plan on using. So that word means the same thing, which they can't take from the meaning of that word because it means that here. Dog means dog here. Dog means dog here. Now, we previously discussed in previous lives where words might mean different in law than regular. Human being, living organism, upright organism, walking, Homo sapien. Human in law means monster. However, we're looking at an IRS private finding law that is constituting itself under contract law. You're going to set up your structure as a contract law entity. So these words mean the same thing when you set up your structure as long as it's under contract law or you're constructing a contract law entity. Don't let these people intimidate. Do not let the IRS intimidate you. You know what the fuck you see, and you know what you're doing. You've researched it. You know what you're trying to set up for yourself. Do not allow intimidation to overwhelm you, because I'm telling you, I am in the midst and have gone through this and am going through this now. And what I'm telling y'all is what it is.
There's
And I
nothing like
want to
somebody
end.
speaking from experience versus somebody like me who could read up on it all day long, but I've never done it. So I can't
Right.
apply it to real life situations. But here, Slump is actually has won and is currently going through expanding, strengthening,
Yes,
right?
exactly. I've taken a major L by not fully researching myself and allowing a person that I've trusted to implement this. As a result, I was burned. I've taken a L. However, there is a silver lining in the clouds when my kids' assets and the assets I had set aside for my offspring was not touched in the mist. So that let me know, okay, I fucked up, but I didn't fuck all the way up. I did something right. Let me find out what I did right and let me build correctly. Let me put a foundation on it, put the wood up, put the roof on it, put the shingles, put the drywall, put the siding, add the electric and the plumbing to the house.
Right.
It's basically. So now, with that being said, we went what we do. Oh, number 4 says the money and distributions from trust to grandchild 4 and great grandchild 5 are not includable in the income of great grandchild 4 and great grandchild 5 under section code 662. So see, that's another
That's
code that
another
supports
section code.
that. Correct. Now, I'm gonna scroll. I want you to scroll down to 3. Ruling number 3.
To ruling
Number 3.
number 3.
Correct.
Okay. Are y'all enjoying this work, man? Are you? There we go. Ruling number 3.
All right. What I want y'all to take a look at here is the part where it says distributable net income as okay. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah. Scroll up a little bit, just a little bit. No, the other way. I'm sorry, the other way.
What you want to? Where you want me to
Go
go?
back up. Yeah, go back up. Go back up just a little bit. I'm gonna see what's above.
You want to
Uh,
this paragraph up
yeah,
here?
scroll up. I bet yet. I bet yet. No, 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 no. Leave it here. We just skip that part. Um. Oh. Yeah. Go back down again. I'm sorry. Back to the part where it says 64 643B where we was at. I can skip that other part.
Okay. All right. 643B right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh-oh. You went too far up.
Oh wait, it says the rest of them say 643A.
Right there. Okay, go down. Yeah, yeah, right there. Well, the red live where it shows the timing
Let
up
me.
here on StreamYard is kind of black. It was kind of blocking it a little bit. But
Okay.
now it also includes other sections of the IRS codes. For example, like it said, section code 643A defines the term distributed net income as the taxable income of the estate or trust computed with certain modifications. I'm going to take it to the 64. 643B, which is that certain modification that it's talking about. So it says section 643B and the regulations thereunder provide that the purposes of subparts A, B, C, and D, the term income, when not preceded by the words taxable, distributable net, undistributable net, or gross, means the amount of income the estate or trust for the taxable year determined under the terms of governing instrument and applicable local law. Items of gross income constituting extraordinary dividends, we went over that, or taxable stock dividends which the fiduciary acting in good faith determines to be applicable to corpus under the terms of governing instrument and applicable law. And then it says section 46B, let me see, and it reiterates it right there again, under provide that for the purpose of, let me see where it says blah, 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 blah. Oh, I just read that. Now, up under here, it says not considered income. This is the IRS agent telling you that is not considered income. And then it says, in this case, court determined that the governing instrument in state law would categorize the funds distribution from LLC to trust as a return of corpus. As such, the funds distribution from LLC to trust pursuant to the settlement agreement meets the definition of an extraordinary dividend under 643B and is not considered income. Now,
so what they're saying is, even the money you make from your business, any profits made from the business, is not considered income as long as it's covered up under these extraordinary dividends.
As long as you have your structure set to where any funds is accumulated funnels into that as of extraordinary dividends, it is not considered income. That eliminates all tax liability at that point. All.
Correct.
However,
that would be the way Jeff Bezos at Amazon avoided paying taxes on Amazon then, huh?
That's like, yep, that is correct. Bullseye emoji. Even more stern and definite example is Mr. Donald Trump. Everybody's saying, oh, Donald Trump is broke. He don't have any money. He just has these hotels using his name. Did y'all know that them names on them hotels is DBAs? Those are DBAs, doing business as. When you get you an EIN number, when you get you an EIN number, you have the name of your business, which, and then you have a DBA, which is doing business as. You might have Sonia Quarters Investments LLC, doing business as Madam Oracle Sonia Quarters. You know what I mean? The key to this, what people didn't know, is that you can have multiple DBAs on one EIN number. That's even more juice for the cause. You can have multiple DBAs on one EIN number. But again, you want to make sure that, first of all, let me back up. You need to make sure that you're operating up under contract law and make sure that everything in your structure is fit for contract law entities. You want to avoid statutory law all the way. The problem is people have mixed contractual law entities with statutory law, and that just gives the IRS, attorneys, and everybody else basically a can opener to be able to pry open your situation to where your entity could be touched. You
Okay.
basically fucking
Okay.
you you messing yourself over. Everything has to be contractual law, or has to be a structure of that declares itself as a contract law entity, if that makes sense. And
It does.
You have Mr. Ho Biden to thank for that shit. When they passed the Corporate Transparency Act, that's, when he called himself trying to hire uh, those plentiful 47,000 agents, I believe it was that one. This is what they were doing it for.
Oh,
We we have some fault in that because when COVID hit and PPP and all that came out, it was so many people committing fraud, not doing it the right way, saying you had 100 damn employees. When you don't have the income to support that. I mean, people was getting them PPPs. Now, mind you, you have the elite that manipulated their way into a piece of the pie. Also, we do see celebrities at that time that were getting PPPs and all this and stuff, and it wasn't going more toward the people that actually were affected. We do see that. However, we do have our people that did participate in it doing all wrong by it. First of all, they were uh this is one lick I know that people were doing. Hey man, I know somebody can hook you up with that PPP stuff. You know what I'm saying? You pay me, all you gotta do pay me 1,000. I hit you on to him, and then you let that person get you the PPP. He done set it up and got you 25 grand or 20 grand, and he done took 5 grand or 10 grand and gave you 9 grand. What kind of shit is that?
hmm.
Now you don't know what that man done put on the form for you to get that money. Here comes 5, 6 years down the line, you get audited. You don't know what that dude done did. You got to match everything to what he said, and then on top of that, you have to prove it with receipts.
Right.
You can't do either or. You get locked up for however many years, and that's Fed time. If that makes sense, depending on. So
Right.
that so that's where that came from. People intentionally putting that they had a business. They put on the paper they've been in business for 4 or 5 years, but you was working at McDonald's last year. No, man. No, sir. You asking to get audited. This Corporate Transparency Act, first and foremost, it
It ain't gonna work.
it forces everybody with an LLC, incorporated S
And that's what a
corp.
lot of people do now.
Mhm. It forces you, if you have a business or a LLC, it forces you to report that you are the owner, or you are this, or you are that. This is also how they are notified when you change your structure. For example, I have a business that I've been running for 11 years. I'm filing my taxes up on the regular business LLC or INC or whatever. I find out about this setup and I want to change my setup for whatever reason. I visit a estate planning attorney and he gives me the best route for my situation. I pay to implement that situation, and once I implement that situation, it gets deemed at the IRS. Hey man, this guy or this gal here is up to some shit. By the way, fun fact, the IRS is using AI now. So any slight change in what you do from your bank account, money coming in, money going out, they are going to be notified. You're going to get audited. And depending on how much money is involved, the feds will get involved too. This is happening right now. Just to let y'all know what's up. So don't be surprised. I'm just saying. Whether you move forward with implementing a structure like this or you don't, and you keep the same structure that you do, that's cool and fine. But I'm just letting you know, if there's any drastic change, let's say you don't do any of this and you just run your business as a LLC. You apply for a SBA grant, you get $100K. As you receive that in the bank, there's a notification the IRS receives right then. You got an eye on you, your account, and all of that from that point moving forward. Ensure that you allocate those funds correctly. The second that something don't go right or go in or out obscenely, obscurely wrong, you gonna get audited and they're gonna come see you. You have to prove everything that you've done to the T. The slightest thing go wrong, it could be you could receive a fines, or if they deem it intentional or criminal, you can end up with $10,000 fine, 2 years in jail. Literally, it could be as small as a change of address. So check this out. This will hit us. It could be as simple as a change of address for your business. It could be as simple as you getting married into a business that your significant other might have. If you don't notify the IRS within 30 days of that change, you're considered not in compliance.
Non-compliant and subjective to penalties and fees and fines,
which are $500 a day, retroactive. $500 a day, retroactive. And if they, like I said, if they find that it's intentional, that you intentionally didn't report, they can deem it criminal in some cases, and you will get hit with a $10K fine plus 2 years in jail. That's on top of the $500 per day, retroactive. So it's important for y'all to ensure that you got your ducks in a row doing this, or whether you're not doing this in business, period. You want to make sure you're doing business correctly. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. We all, fall short, and we all hit loopholes here and there, and we do what we do. Just make sure when we do what we do, it don't cost you more than what you profited. And at that point, it ain't worth it. But I'm gonna put that out there too. Now, like I want to double back to a point I stated before. Ensure that your structure is abiding by all contract law. Make sure that your structure is a contract law entity and operating only in that fashion. Nothing statutory. Because anything in your structure says statutory, you're in trouble. Don't mix contractual with statutory. Don't. I mean, also, most people are stacking LLCs after LLCs, paying separate bookkeeping, separate tax filings, annual reports, compliances for each one. But in a contractual law, spendthrift trust, you literally can operate multiple DBAs under the same umbrella. At that point, it'll be considered all pass-through entity. It will literally be considered as a pass-through. So what? Now you've created a structure where you can consolidate everything into one EIN, multiple DBAs because of this trust. You also can do a irrevocable trust and put all of your LLCs here within that, selling everything within the trust, and the trust owns all of that. You can do that too. That's another route you can do too. Equal, both of those are equal, but make ensuring that it fits your specific situation. Both of them serve the same purpose. But again, if you have multiple businesses, you're selling all of those businesses in the irrevocable trust. That's when the irrevocable trust may be the better route to go.
Right.
If you got multiple LLCs, if you don't want to you're selling all of that to the trust at that point, and you're now acting trustee. You don't own it, you're acting trustee. You just operate. Power of attorney, basically, of everything. Or you can have this route where you're operating up under the same umbrella through the pass-through technique, where everything's up under multiple DBAs. But you can only do that under a fully spendthrift structure.
That's that spendthrift.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, Miss T, I hope I've given just the basics. I wanted to at least show you a few options, what they are, what to do, what not to do, and show you proof of what this and that means. I've also showed you a IRS private finding letter where they use that terminology in it and basically snitched on themselves. With that being said, I hope what I've just disclosed has given some type of insight to prick your brain to actually go whichever route you decide to go. Hopefully it's giving you a step or two or three up to be able to say, okay, I know a little bit more about this. Let me research on this. Let me research on this to see what would best fit me. And then from there, again, visit with an estate planning attorney to ensure that you are abiding by all guidelines for your area or your state, and to ensure the best fit for you to where you are comfortable moving forward with. That's going to benefit you and your lineage. So,
And I think this is important, especially since 2020 brought about uh, a plethora of small business owners, right? Whether they were actually business owners or business owners on paper. I think we saw an influx of business owners, and then you've got the era of technology, and there are a lot of people making very smart investments and obtaining this wealth that just don't know this information. They don't know these protections because these protections aren't taught to us in public school systems.
Right, right. And I'm happy that, that I'm not happy that COVID happened, but I'm happy that there is awareness that people need to understand that the United States are not in the benefit of the worker. United States is in the benefit of business,
Correct.
period, because the United States is a business itself, period.
And you
So with
always
that
see
being
better numbers when you're doing business to business.
right now, with that being said, that doesn't mean just because the United States is for the business owner and not the worker, that doesn't mean that you're in the best position being the owner.
Right.
We see that there are techniques that have been manipulated to where not even being the owner is the best position there is out there. You're not maximizing all benefits being the owner of a business.
Not if you don't have protections in place.
Correct. Be all the way gone in a ghost trust, being all the way off the radar, being all the way untouchable, period. You got aspects. I mean, there's multiple ways to skin a cat in this. It's people out there that are pushing the fact that, hey, you can get your vehicle, you get your vehicle in your LLC name, and that is a way to go. That's an option. Is that the option you want to do though? Does that fit what you trying to do with your life and your setup and your structure and the way you trying to carry yourself? Is that for you? It may or may not be for you. It may be a different way that fits you more, fits your feet more than just putting your assets in an LLC or putting in a business name to get a tax write-off. And that's another thing. That's what I'm saying. What is better? Not having no tax liabilities or reduced tax liabilities or having a tax write-off. Because ultimately a tax write-off, oh, I get it back. No, you doesn't. It just reduces your tax liabilities. You might be able to run this structure that I just explained or find out a structure similar that eliminates all of your tax liabilities. Whereas if you just go the regular route, yeah, you have your tax write-offs or whatever, but you still paying 20 grand a year in taxes. No tax liability or paying 20K a year.
Hmm.
It all depends upon how you structure yourself, what you're trying to do for your situation. Period. So,
And that's just that. And that's
mhm.
why this this information that Slump is blessing us with is foundational. It's to stimulate the thought process, to encourage you to go and look deeper into it with an estate planning attorney in your state. And that way, when you go to the estate planning attorney, you'll have a roundabout understanding of things to ask him or her about, to look into a little further, with a little understand to not go in blind. Right? Am I right about that?
For sure. For sure. For sure. Most definitely. I just, it's one thing to not know, but once you know, you held accountable.
That's it.
And I'm just, you, and I'm just saying, it's not, so you got God that holds you accountable to be a witness and tell somebody about his works. You also have an obligation to not live in sin, even though we are not perfect. The point is to not live in sin and turn away and be anew. And then you have those that are stewardships, pastors, etc., missionaries, etc. that are going to be held to a way different standard, more stricter. The more up the ladder you go, the more stricter you get. You know, and then of course you got the said fallen angels who don't have any grace at all because they were there and chose to not be there. You know, there's a difference between never seeing and not going and falling short, and then actually being there with greatness and being the dumbass, and then not and choosing to leave and do something different. There's a difference, big difference. Um,
Huge.
but that's going to conclude my information for today. Like I
Opening
said,
up the panel,
say that again.
extending an offer to open up the panel.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely, the panel is open. Most definitely, the panel is open. Also, if there's any, I don't want this just to be about what I've done because again, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning myself. I've been through a lot. Can't tell you a lot. Can't advise you a lot. However, I'm interested also in what my family knows and what my family is interested in. And if it's something I don't know about, I want to research into it. And we can definitely speak about it and come up with a plan together to make each other better. That's what it's all about. Um, and also, I'm gonna reiterate something that I had said in the past live too. I hope that each and every one of y'all have chosen a high yield savings account, no matter where it's from. Um, I need y'all to get that. That's not. I need you to do that. That's not a. I hope you do. I need you to do that. And the key with that is you can get open as many of those as you need to or see fit. I mean, I don't give a damn if you put in $5 in it or $10 in there. The high yield savings account is going to give you a form of compounding interest into it. And that's as little as $5. You know, you got Sophie. Sophie is a debit card a prepaid debit card that it has its own account and round number that people are starting to deem credible to get vehicles and houses or whatever with because it gives you that track record that the same thing that a normal bank would get, and you'll be able to prove income, etc. Get you a Sophie debit card and just load more money into the savings part of it. Sophie is good. Um, there's other cards and apps out there that does high yield savings. They advertise. Matter of fact, these lower end cards are advertising high yield savings accounts for that reason because they're having to compete with regular accounts with Bank of America, Wells Fargo, etc. Which, by the way, Miss T, Wells Fargo, at some point you're gonna have to go to a Wells Fargo and open up an account with the trust. Get the trust set up first, then go there because they're going to ask for the paperwork. But that's the easiest bank to go open up a business trust account
Wells
with.
Fargo.
Wells Fargo, yeah. I missed that earlier, but I'm glad I doubled back and remembered that.
Right.
And then um, you'll be able to use that account. Now,
What about
Miss T,
Navy
don't go.
Federal?
Navy, I don't know about Navy Federal. I don't know about them. I don't know about Navy Federal. I just know I know about Wells Fargo because I got a Wells Fargo account. I got it made. Now, when they give you this is a little small insight, Miss T. When they give you your checks, don't put your business name or nothing like that. Just have it, regular with your regular name on there. Don't put your business in the trust name or any setup on there.
So
Leave
just your
it.
name. Because
Just leave
everybody
just
doesn't have to
like a
know
regular
that you
check.
have a trust.
Exactly. There you go. Ring the bell, damn it.
I say everybody don't need to know your motherfucking business. I say, if you do this shit, that between you, your trust attorney, and the motherfucking bank. I say, bitch, just say it's you. Okay. There you
I ain't say do all that. On that damn bed, I'm trying to tell you, man. But yeah, for that very reason though, don't nobody need to know your business. And if you're using to pay with a written check, which people still do pay with written checks, which I still advise you use, uh, you are able to still pay regular. You know, it ain't nobody business. And you can do that and it's still legal. You know, you ain't gotta put your entity name on that check. You can leave it regular, just like a regular old check.
because you're the
Uh,
person that's conducting the transaction.
correct. That's the facade you want. That's the facade you
Correct.
want to display anyway.
Right.
Exactly. As an officiating officer or trustee, so to say. You know, that's how you want to do it anyway. But again, Sophie, get that high yield. Check into a whole bunch of high yield savings accounts. Get them. Another thing that I'm gonna tell you about, which other people have already put out there, but some of these institutions with good high yield savings accounts, once you build up so much money in there, you can then that could be a plan B to get a specific type of loan. For example, going back to Navy Federal, I know Navy Federal got pledge loans where you put so much in the savings account. You might go to them and say, hey, I'm going to borrow this amount of money. They give you the amount of money as a loan. You have it in your savings already. You pay it off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once you've met that payback criteria for them, then you can then go to them for a higher amount loan or credit card, etc. It can be used for benefits, depending on what institution you had that high yield savings with. That's sort of a back way into, hey, I need to get a loan. Well, I ain't got no good credit right now. They're not gonna deal with me because of my credit. Well, a lot of people are now saying being a lot more lax on credit and just wanting you to build a relationship with them. You know,
Right.
American Express is one of them. I know American Express they don't give a damn. As long as you build a relationship with them, you can start from ground zero, build a relationship with them. Next thing you know, you got a black card. Motherfuckers like, what you get a black card from? You know, you never know. I'm using it as an example. Just using it as an
So what
example.
you
You
saying?
never
You
knew.
sitting over there with a black card?
Huh?
Huh?
No, no, I'm
You
not. No, I'm not.
oh,
I ain't gonna. I wish. I ain't that on. I'm not on like that. I wish I was on like that. If I was on like that, you know what? If I was on like that, when we was talking about that land down there, I would
yeah.
have actually came right then.
I know that's right. And they building already
Shit.
too. Yeah.
Man, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Um, shit. Which, by the way, I remember. Shout out to Pretty Trucker over there.
Already.
She had. I had clicked in on one of her lives, and she had a quick snippet where she was discussing people actually getting the amounts that they was getting awarded for the databases that they were trying to the people that trying to build them databases and people was getting she was actually covering the amounts that some of these people were actually getting for their bank. They are coughing up a lot of money for these people for their land and their property and their houses so they can actually put these data places there in a place of. So
So when you
shout
first
out.
started, my neighbor, I have a neighbor across the street, an elderly couple, and their egg order, they get three dozen eggs every month. So I was meeting her with her egg order, and they had been out of town. And I told her, I said, so are you ready for the data center? Again, she had no clue that they were building one, that it was this close to our house. She was like, so what kind of data center? It's gonna be like a call center? And I told her no, explained to her what it was. And she said, "Ooh, they gonna give us some good money, ain't it?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. We all gotta stick to
Man,
1.4 being a minimum, okay?"
man, I'm trying to tell you, these folks, boy.
Ain't
I
no question.
seen, I saw a couple of what these folks were getting. Boy, they blessing the game. They
Woo.
blessing the game. So, shout out to everybody that gets to partake in that blessing. Definitely, you deserve it. Definitely,
We gonna get
definitely
some
deserve
money. We gonna get some money. Okay, never mind.
it. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Shit, got to
I
get it
need
one way or
pretty
the other.
truckers. Pretty
Yeah.
trucker. Come show
Yeah,
my
she.
husband because he don't believe water wet.
Oh man, yeah, she definitely. I want to say when was that? It was last week. It was what? It was last week. It was what morning was that? Uh, I think it was. It was either last Monday morning live or last Wednesday morning live, and she covered different topics, and she went into that topic. I was like, oh yeah, 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 for sure. And she was giving the mass where this lady was getting it. I'm like, damn. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
So
yeah,
our 1.4 is a small ask, is what you're saying. We need to go up.
like a motherfucker.
Ooh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, I want to believe, I want to believe that the specific family that she was speaking of got 22.
Oh,
Got 22. I want to
oh,
believe. I believe
I'm
that's
gonna be
what.
bougie.
I believe that's what it was. I'm not mistaken. If you want to check out Pretty Truckers live either
I will.
last Monday or the Monday or either last Monday or Wednesday morning. It was one of them.
I will.
I actually was gonna get on. I actually hit the link and was gonna go into it a little bit, but she had switched to another
Topic.
subject where talking about she had showed a clip where they was talking about DNA where um, a baby can actually have uh, characteristics from two men um, with DNA chromosomes, something about the third chromosome with the babies. But yeah, she covered some good shit over there. Shout out to Pretty Trucker again. She covered some good shit in the
I'll
morning.
have to
She did.
subscribe.
Uh, Most definitely, and that definitely caught my interest. And she actually went into, like I said, she went into a clip where she was discussing people that were getting awarded money for their land because of the data centers that are getting put up. I was like, oh yeah, most definitely,
I
yeah.
might have to ask Gemini, how do I start the charge for
Mm,
that? For
what
my
type
name
of
to be mentioned.
approach?
Yeah, what type of
What?
approach?
How are they basing their offers? What are they basing their offers on? Is it square feet or acre or how they, you know, yeah, that might be a good idea to do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's definitely my Monday homework. Because then this trust will make even more sense. Right now, we got peanuts
You
to
got
put in
damn
that
right.
motherfucker.
You got damn right. So imagine this. You got, let's just say you got 5 mil. You got 5 mil. Or better yet, let's do this. Let's take the fucking lottery winners, for
Okay.
example, because this how it happens to them majority of the time. So first and foremost, you win a lottery, they give you the option of lump sum or annual payments over the 30 years. Me personally, I say fuck that. I want annual payments over the 30 years. But in this case, I'm gonna have to backtrack that. Um, well, no, I'm not gonna backtrack that for the simple fact if you still get that lump sum, they exchange from them to you is taxable. So you talking about what situation was that I saw? No, it was the last person that hit that $1 billion recently, that recent $1 billion. that lump sum, they ended up getting only 400 mil. I said,
Mm,
God damn.
mm.
You took 600 mil from me? Nah, you ain't gonna do that shit.
But
I'm finna
then
make sure.
Epstein's trust hit the lottery since his death. So are you saying that that lottery that they won, that trust won, if they had the right clauses and they, if it was hold on, extraordinary dividends, then they didn't even have to pay taxes on the lottery that they won. It was a straight win.
So you saying Epstein's trust or Epstein's estate?
Was it his estate or his trust? Might have been his estate.
Let's start there. Did
Okay.
the estate or did the trust hit?
Yeah, I think it was his estate.
Because it can't be the estate if it's set up as a contractual entity.
Right.
If it's trust hit, then it means his trust is a statutory entity, and you
Ah,
still
okay.
liable. Yeah.
For taxes.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. 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 Now, very well, it could be that it is possible for the trust to act again as its own entity in itself. It's very possible that that could have happened, but I don't believe that that would have happened if you don't went that far and you know what you're doing and it's still alive and you're still carrying your name active as such. Then I'm pretty sure somebody told you to do something a different way.
So it
And if
was
it wasn't,
his
and if it wasn't
Zorro
done,
Trust,
say that again.
Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Trust won an 85 million Powerball jackpot.
Zorro,
Zorro's Trust. Hmm.
not the other guy, Zorro. The
No,
Soros is with a Z.
it's his company and it's called Zorro's Trust.
Oh, so that means it was set up for that intentionally. Then he intentionally set that up like that. Then, and again, that is cool. That is cool. He's still that trust there is statutory for sure, and it's
Okay.
set up under the statutory law, which meaning it got to abide. It has to act as a statutory entity. And yes, at that point, you still got to get that up. It's probably a reduced amount. It's probably not the normal amount as a regular person, but yeah, if it's statutory, you pay. You gotta get it. You gotta come up off of that for real. You gotta come up off of that
Okay. Just wanted to
Yeah,
a little clarity.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. It all depends. Like I said, trust are entities and mechanisms set up for a specific reason. If you're trying, you may not be trying to reduce your taxes or anything like that. You just want something set up just because you want to leave something for your kids. Okay, that's cool. Plain and simple. You can keep it simple. Boom. You can do a revocable. You can do an irrevocable, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're trying to maximize your benefits and you want to leave your people something, make sure they're protected. You want to make sure that this is allocated after them because you don't trust that they'll be financially under financially sound or literate to be able to hang on to it or repeat the process. You can do that now and repeat the process yourself and just lay the foundation and let it go. Like for example, I brought up we talked about this a previous live where you can get a live living insurance, living trust, living insurance policy to where you can put into it and it builds cash value and you can become your own bank at that point once you put so much into it, depending on the amount of that policy that you do. See, you want to take that and put that with a structure, like you want to put that with a structure that is contractual and be a bad motherfucker and solidify the wealth for your lineage from here on out. Because you know, when you die, your death benefit after they bury you, the remainder of that, instead of going to your your next in line, it goes into that trust and it replenishes it, and it continues to build and compound value. Of course, I went into more. I went into more on compound and why it compounds and value and all of that. But basically, you feeding it yourself, and that goes along with everybody. That's a second port. That's an extra portion, a layer of funding that you can instill into that trust to ensure, on top of protecting your assets. Just
That's
put what I told. Just put what I told y'all in the previous live with what I'm saying now. You put all that together, and 1+1 =2.
and there
Even though,
is a playlist now just for the Slump Knows Show podcast, so that you all are able to get this work.
man, I'm telling y'all, look into it. What I'm saying now is true in fact. Will it fit you? It may not. However, everything that I bring to the table to speak to y'all about, I want to bring something to the table that y'all don't know about, or at least if y'all do know about it or have heard about it, maybe I can give a little bit more insight to you to think, well, damn, I've been wanting to know that question for some years. I want to answer that question and give you the confidence to either research or move forward in doing it and executing. Because that's the thing. We all know about it. We all know about this and know about that and have experienced this and have experienced that, and might even know what we can do to move forward and get to put ourselves in a better position. But if we don't execute, it's all useless. I mean, faith without works is dead.
It's dead.
That's what they say. So my thing is I want to make sure that I can get y'all to put that work in, or at least attempt. Because the attempt to do is more than anybody do 90% of what the United States is gonna do, let alone this world. You know, even though we in different countries, it's the same propaganda on every landmass. It really is.
So it's just some game for y'all, baby. It's some game for y'all. Do what you will with it, but don't say you weren't told. Don't say you didn't know. Don't say that you didn't have an opportunity to ask questions. If you are someone who is already where we're trying to go,
Yeah,
then come
yeah,
and give that insight. It's all a
yeah,
part of building community
yeah, for sure.
stronger.
Because we got it takes a village to raise a child. So if it takes a village to raise a child, it takes each one of us to help each other to make our lives easier. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, man. I mean, shit. If we all gonna go on a vacation together, shit, you got a week long cruise might cost 10 grand. Shit, if we got 20 people going, that's $500 a person. That's better than one person paying 10 grand. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Two heads is better than one, and a million can conquer the world. So that's definitely a for sure thing that we want to make sure that we there for each other. You know what I'm saying? Especially like-minded individuals like us, we got to make sure that we are together on.
Okay, okay. All right. Well, I don't think they got no questions. They ain't even talking to us no more. They were talking. So hopefully
Oh,
they have
shoot.
taken good notes. But before I have a question, and it's if we're closing that segment, that part of the show. What else did you learn about those flying objects?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Get in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Get in there. Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
let me
So,
just state that I live right by the airport, and that was not planes. It was
oh,
about
do you?
6 of them. Yeah, I'm
By the
actually
airport,
I am
huh?
I am right by the airport where my community is fighting because my state wants to use the air base that hosts the airport as a concentration camp. They were one of
Mm.
the largest ICE detention centers. Uh, yeah, so
Mm.
now
Yeah,
they
you
want to
is.
turn it into a concentration camp.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've been seeing some shit. I know Miss Tegan. We was discussing in the chat last live where them drones and shit was being seen over Barksdale Air Force over there on the other side of Sweetport and shit. And she was saying it was going on over there where she was at. I was like, okay, yeah, I really want to see what the hell's going on. So this is what I found out. Here's an option of what I found out that it could possibly be. So I came across a whistleblower. I should have wrote his fucking name down, but he ended up dying. Or no, well we know what happened to him, but he ended up disappearing. Let me rephrase that
Right.
for YouTube guidelines purposes. Excuse me. He disappeared, and he gave a whistleblowing interview stating what those orbs were. What he stated what those orbs were plasma orbs. Plasma
Plasma?
orbs. He stated that those are plasma orbs. If you notice, when you look, if you see those during the day, which they got clips of it during that interview, it was clips shown of it, where you could, it was a said plane. We gonna play charades, and there was a said plane that was flying, and allegedly it was a military exercise. That's what they say. A military exercise where three plasma orbs were following it, and then all of a sudden they were circulating it in a circular in a circular going in a circular motion around the front end of that plane, and then all of a sudden that plane disappeared out of nowhere.
Hmm.
Allegedly, these plasma orbs, allegedly, this whistleblowing scientists have stated they have broken fusion, is his words. They've broken plasma fusion, which once you've done that, there's no physics law to explain it. But this is a weapon that they have, a secret military weapon that they have, amongst other shit that we know. But this said plane, I want y'all to let's guess what plane this was.
What plane was it?
You got damn right. It was that Malaysian, the M, whatever that was plane. It was that plane. It was
So
that
is
plane
that
that had
what
all
they're now
the.
saying happened to the Malaysian plane?
That's what he said allegedly happened to the plane. What's crazy is they have live footage of it happening and stated that it was a live military exercise. But came
They
out
have
and
a
told us they're
movie about
gonna.
it too, you know.
Oh yeah, and then you just don't know. You don't lose track of a damn plane with 200 plus people on it. You just don't. You just don't. That's like the government saying, "Oh, we lost $1 trillion. Don't know where it went." $1 trillion? You don't know where it went to?
Hmm.
No, ain't no way. Mind the fact that you already got a black budget for the dark side of things that's operating behind closed curtains. That no, you can't tell us that. But now you come out with live footage of it actually being. It had to be a military exercise for you to actually have footage of it.
Correct. Because how did you know to be looking for it?
Looking for it.
And I just want to say
Exactly.
that those 5 to 6 flying objects that I recorded the other night, if those were planes, Air traffic control would have been losing their minds. Do you hear me? A plane goes in a specific direction. These things kind of dance toward each other. It's like an orchestra almost. They was
Right,
just up
right.
there doing some funky stuff.
Right. Not only that, I remember a point in time when we were growing up where drones were illegal. We couldn't get a hold to drones. Drones been out since we were little.
Right.
We've been doing, yeah, we've been now all of a sudden all of these drones with the cameras and all this that was illegal at some point at one point in life are now easily accessible by us. Why?
So that we
You
are
can even
desensitized to it. So that if we
we-
see it, we think it's nothing. It's something somebody got at Best Buy.
exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
They only
But yeah,
release technology to the general public when they are ready.
when it can be controlled, when they can tell a difference.
Correct.
So that lets you know that they have a different modification, a different way of detecting shit. So that means y'all detecting, well, you know what? Who was that? Vance, the vice president,
Mm-hmm.
he slipped up and said that we gotta when he went over there originally to start the talks with Iran about peace and all that. He even
Mm-hmm.
slipped up and said in this speech that we have a different way of detecting shit. So they not where you gotta wonder why Trump don't give a fuck. There's a reason why Trump don't give a fuck. It's not that he don't give a damn about us. It's the fact that we very well might be untouchable to a certain point right now. We can't rule that shit out. And what makes it even more obvious is that if anything do happen, then it was allowed to happen.
To happen. Mm-hmm.
Because the one thing that the United States is going to bite tooth and nail to prevent from happening without their control is the collapse of the economy over here. Yeah, they're doing some shit that's putting things in jeopardy, but rest assured that we ain't go to Venezuela and take over Venezuela like we did for nothing. There must be a time period for that to work itself out. That has to be a chess move. It has to be because it wouldn't be any point for
Contingency
them.
plan.
You say what?
They already have contingency plans in place.
Oh yes, it's definitely. It ain't even a plan B. That got to be plan D and E. I believe they are 10. I believe that our government is 10 steps ahead. I really do. And I believe that when the balloons and shit happen, I believe it's a form of the order war. You can't
Hmm.
be, you gotta look dumb sometimes. You gotta
Correct.
play dumb sometimes. You play dumb to try to get your opponent's true intentions out. Because if you look weak, it's gonna bring out their true intention. They may go on all offense and say fuck their defense for you to then be able to pinpoint a weakness. That's the art of war.
Correct.
That's one of the 48 laws.
What 8A say? Lay low, play slow.
Yeah. Shout out to DG because he said that shit too.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to DG. Absolutely.
But that's exactly what that is. You know what I'm saying? And you know, at the same time of others outside of our jurisdiction being foreign, we have foreign here too. But rest assured that I mean, first and foremost, here's something else to backtrack and think about. We know that we're not at the top of the food chain, right?
Right.
We understand that. We've been dealing with each other, family. We've discussed these things. We understand that we don't fully have everything, and we're not at the top of the food chain. We're just not. We understand that. And there has to be a reasoning behind why, whether you call them demons, whether you call them extraterrestrial, whether you call them interdimensional, whatever you put that label on that entity or those entities, etc. There has to be a reason why they ain't just came and just took over shit. Because despite popular demand, we ain't got shit for them.
Hmm.
Period. Let's get out of our egos right now. We ain't got shit for him. They could just come say, man, I'm taking your
Most of the
bid.
stuff that we have are things that they have given
That's what I'm saying. Let's go. This is what I'm saying. So
us the
we
ability for
can't
us
lose sight of
to
that.
have this show right now.
We can't lose sight of this. We can't lose sight of that. I don't heard we've all heard, well, it's time travelers coming from thousands of years in the future, et cetera, et cetera. What the fuck ever. This point in time is significant for a million reasons. And there's a reason why shit ain't just went all the way left. There has to be, if you don't believe in God with what we've discussed, you got to believe that there is a higher power. You got to believe that first and foremost. You got to believe that there's a reason for everything. And you got to believe that there's a balance of good and evil, right and wrong. With that being said, you got to know whether you understand yin and yang versus at some point it's going to get all the way bad and there's going to be a possibility of all the way good. That if everything happens simultaneously in the now, allegedly, as people say, then everything is going to happen at the same time. There is a such thing as everything, or if everything is a possibility. Let's retract that. A possibility. That's a safer word to say. But we know. You don't want to. You don't want to turn a blind eye to it to where you put yourself and the others that are around you in danger. You can't know that, hey, it's an asteroid about to hit, and this is just an example. And there's an asteroid that's about to hit. You ain't got but a few minutes left. Everybody else partying don't know about it, but you see the motherfucker coming. Everybody else is blind, and you can't. You be like, "Hey, look, what the fuck is that?" You don't say nothing. You disappear, and you go on say it yourself instead of saying something. You fucking around and die with them just because you didn't say nothing to them. If you say something to them and then you move around, it's different. You see what I'm saying? I'm on that type of shit right now. As far as you can know everything that you know, but if you ain't expressing information to people, that puts you in the category of selfish. And selfish is one of the seven deadly sins, if I'm not
So over
mistaken.
here, our code word is green eggs. It it is eggs and ham. Green eggs and ham is what we
I do not
say
like
over
green
here in
eggs and
chicken
ham.
thick. Okay, green.
I do not like green eggs and ham. Sam, I am. I do not like green. Oh shit! Look, I'm just saying. I'm saying for real. For real, man. It ain't. It ain't. It's funny, but it ain't. It's funny, but it ain't. It really ain't. But it was one more thing. I can't remember. I can't remember now. But yeah, there was a whistleblower that stated that they have figured out, and every time they say figured out, they was told this shit. Um, they've figured out how to break plasma fusion, and as a result, they can control these orbs to where it basically combusts and basically it's a form of teleportation. The thing about it is where do you go once plasma combusts? It also retracts. So when everything retracts, where are you at? What level of the playing field are you coming out of? Where are you on? Do you are you in another dimension? Where are you at that point? That's my question. We also have seen where who was that? Microsoft got the teleportation machines for like what they say 24 million. Have you seen that? They actually got those. Uh-oh.
I hadn't seen the Microsoft thing, but I do know that when we looked into what CERN was doing this year, it was talking about quantum physics, and so quantum physics and science. So that would be along the same lines, right?
Yeah. However, look, I want y'all to look that up, family. Look into the teleport. Literally, I don't. Microsoft. It got to be Microsoft for Apple. It got to be that. Look up teleportation machines. Teleportation machines. They literally have these motherfuckers, and you can travel from one side of the planet to the other as long as you transferring from one teleportation pad to another one. They say once you go through it, you got to sit and chill for a day or two because it makes you sick. But they got them. In my mind, I'm like, nigga, why would I pay 4 million plus for that, and it makes me sick when I could just go catch a goddamn plane or drive or whatever and be perfectly fine. Those are bugs they probably gotta work out on that thing, but that ain't something I'm wanting to do at all. But when I heard about it, I heard about your boy Mark Zuckerberg having it. Supposedly, it's one up in Alaska in Anchorage, and allegedly has one at his fucking house in Hawaii. Mind you, this the world is tearing his ass up. He done lost like 4 or 5 multi-million-dollar goddamn lawsuits about privacy information. Now I know you seen that shit. I think the last one he got hit for 425 million class action suit, but he's been hit with multiple suits. Which, if you add all that money up, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. When you're able to pay over $1 billion worth of lawsuits, billion, and it not affect you at all.
You got too much money. Gluttony is also one of the seven deadly sins.
You can very well just deem that you are Illuminati or whatever. You ain't. You're a part of them.
Yeah.
You're
You
definitely them.
he has become they.
They, yeah,
Yeah.
just
He
like
has
that.
become they. I see that he also recently lost 800 and some odd $1 million lawsuit because someone had become addicted when they were a child. It was actually Meta and YouTube actually. And they had
Mm-hmm.
some whistleblowers in that case as well, stating that they knew, and it was a part of their business strategy to have children to increase their watch time on their applications. And so he actually
Yeah,
lost that lawsuit because of that.
yeah.
But
That,
I'm
that,
wondering if these quantum leap pads, I told y'all that in the world of technology back when I was in that line of business, I can recall they have a tech art, the big thing for tech every year, um, where
yeah, the
you
tech
get this,
convention. Yeah.
yeah, the tech convention.
That's where it came out at. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
where it came out
so,
the year before last year.
yeah. So in 2018 and 19, they actually were launching the flying cars in pilot cities across the United States. They
Yeah,
showcased it, I want to say in 19 or in 18, and then they launched in 5 states across the United States in 2019. And so I've often wondered if some of the stuff that I see when I'm stargazing and looking up, I've often wondered, is that it?
it's very
Um,
fucking possible. Very fucking
yeah,
possible. I remember that coming out then too because they were saying that hey, it's gonna take a minute to get the aerial aerial roads guidelines sorted out.
correct.
You
Dallas was
can't
supposed to be one of the
airspace.
cities too.
Yeah, airspace. They want to because that's a whole nother animal to have to deal with. With that airspace where you can and can't fly and all of that. I remember when even before they released that, they came out with when they were doing when the hoverboards on the wheels were a thing.
Hmm.
They actually I seen Lexus that made an actual hoverboard that propelled and was selling it. They were selling that motherfucker like damn, goddamn $9,000 price of a car,
Mm.
uh, cash car, might as well say. Uh, but yeah, I remember seeing that too. It's crazy.
It's a
They
mode
even
of transportation. And when you have a deeper understanding of what transportation means, then it all makes sense.
yeah, for the folks in the back. You got a time machine sitting in the driveway or in the front of your job right now. You drive it every day. That's a time machine because you're getting from point A to point B faster than walking. That's a time machine. You're manipulating
Correct.
time. It's that
Correct.
simple. It's the small shit that we overlooked. You know what I'm saying? It's that
Correct.
real.
Is that
So
real? And
yeah.
and the programming has been, they've been so successful at programming that we don't even recognize what these things are when we use them in our daily lives.
Exactly. Just because we see the Jetsons on TV and see them, or we see Quantum Leap, old school show, or the new Quantum Leap that just came out, or Stargate from back in the day, or Star Trek from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? We program to think it's extremity.
Correct.
That's the word. The extremity of is what it is. But we overlook the obvious that we have right now. That's literally considered the same thing, just not that
Correct.
extreme.
And
Mm.
if I've learned nothing else, I know that here, I can't speak for another country, but in America, the Department of Education and the way we're taught, we are taught to get the definition of a thing, but to not apply it everywhere it goes in the United States. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is what it's defined as, but this ain't that. You know,
yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, we could take the simple slang and verbs that we use right now. You know what I'm saying? Like slang means two different things. I mean, multiple things. Clock means multiple different things, like humans, multiple different things, multiple different fashions. You know what I'm saying? Sight is it can
Mm-hmm.
mean multiple different things, especially in different languages. Espanol, you might say hello. It's multiple different shit that mean hello. You can say
Hola.
hi,
Yeah.
hola, or you say que paso, that means a what's up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It
Right.
mean multiple shit. You know what I'm saying? In different languages. You're right. And that little that we do on a regular basis is overlooked because we used to and we don't see it as, but it is.
Correct.
So yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure.
Correct.
That's definitely some, so before Mama Slump passed, I gotta shout out to Mama Slump every time I think about her. I miss her very much. But if it's one thing that she major thing that she taught me back in the day, because she knew what I was doing. Back in the day, she know the bills and food and shit was popping up in the goddamn house, and she knew shit, money would pop up in the purse, and all of a sudden I got new shoes and shit like that, and I'm driving at fucking 14 and shit. She knew what I was doing, and what she would tell me though, especially when it came to the ladies. Now I've always, you know, I've been the type to always be a friend first before intimacy. I learned that from my mother. I had a stern mother. I was raised up under a mom. I didn't have my dad there, even though I knew of him. The streets really raised me. My mom was disabled her entire life. I mean, having me. I mean, she was blind in one eye. Um, she was, had surgeries on her insides and had to wear a colostomy bag for the latter part of her life every day. I mean, I had to deal with, but she still was able to drive. She was still play dominoes, whip your ass.
Right.
All of it still do her
Long
thing,
live
but
Mama Slump.
she'll bust your ass with that 357 Magnum she got. She will fuck you up still. But one thing that she, taught me, mainly dealing with how I was moving, is, you know, she would tell me, she was like, son, look, I know you out there moving fast, you doing your thing. I see that you're a liked individual. You got different women, different chicks coming knocking on the door to see if you're here to come kick it with them outside now, this and that. And, you got your partners calling you and this and that and the other. Got the hotline blowing up and shit. And back then it was the landline, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, mama be on the phone. She might be watching stories. Stories come on during the day. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, or she be watching TGIF or something, and then it used to come on in the afternoon, and she be on the phone with her home girl, chopping it up and shit, gossiping and shit, just like anybody else out the hood and shit. And she get them girls calling, it, it's slumped there, it's slumped there, it's slumped there, it's slumped there, and mama, son, you just gonna have to pay that phone bill because you got more people calling than me. Yes, ma'am, I will. I ain't got no problem with it. Because back then everything wasn't as high as it is now, but still, being raised at the time where I'm just supposed to be worried about school, I had other shit I had to worry about also. Uh, Definitely have a normal childhood, but again, she back to what she told me is, you moving fast out there. Sometimes at one point, uh, you moving fast out there. You need to slow down. And I'm like, I'm good. I got everything in church. She's like, son, listen to me. It's gonna be a point where you're gonna be out there in your life and you're gonna be moving and things gonna be seeming like it's too good to be true. At that point, I'm gonna need you to slow down and just stop and
Right.
turn around and look around you and see how fast everything else is going. Because if you stop You look around and shit's still going, that'll tell you one thing. But then if you look around and shit around you stop moving, it's something to think about. You got to move around. That means you got to cut off some shit because your motion is somebody else's motion at that point. And that's what you don't need. Because ultimately, if your motion is somebody else's motion, then that means you have somebody latched on to you and you could end up living out somebody else's life and not your own purpose. And since that moment, I guarantee you that next 3 months, I did some figuring out. I avoided a situation. I was about to fucking dox myself. But
Yeah.
I avoided a situation literally within the next couple of months, like literally back to fucking back. And the understanding, it goes back to having the understanding. For me, understanding what my mom was telling me at that time and me then implementing it, I can't go back now because now things are exposed and I have to move accordingly because they are. And this is the same thing with what we do here occasionally. We come and we meet up on here and we speak about different things, or we come on here for fuck shit. And sometimes we can allow that fuck shit to dictate our futures and how we actually move. I had to learn that the hard way because I wasn't all the way right when I first got on here. And I'm the type of dude, man. I will not forget what the streets did for me because the streets fed me. And I was able to learn from other people's mistakes to
Right.
avoid my own. So I can't and will not talk bad about the
Shit on
street
them. Right.
uh, because it made me the man that I am today, along with other things. So I can't talk down. I can't talk down on the streets and what goes on. Nor will I discredit anybody's hustle, no matter whether it's wrong or not, because I'm not their God to judge that. Um, however, um, it's important to know once you understand and once you see and you're held accountable at that point moving forward. So you have to make that positive or negative change. I mean, you might have to handle the situation incorrectly and go sit down for a little bit just to realize what God is trying to get to you, or what your higher power is trying to portray to you, or for you to even hear him talk to you, because sometimes you can have a lot of noise drowning him out, and
Hmm.
sometimes he has to break you all the way down to get your attention. Which again,
Separate you.
I'm in that. I'm testimony to that. I've had to almost lose everything to be able to restructure my mind and the way I live, and to ensure that I got my kids' best interests at hand, along with not putting myself in jeopardy anymore. So, um, if I
Now
gotta,
your approach is a little different than mine because it ain't the streets when I talk shit, bro. It ain't the streets I'm talking about. It's the motherfuckers in the way out there that cause unnecessary harm and destruction because they have no guidance from people who know better. There, there's no protocol set in place for redirection, or what's a boundary without consequences. It's just a suggestion, but certain lifestyles have to have boundaries and protocols put in place because it could mean the difference between life or death, or freedom, or incarceration. And so just know that when I talk the shit I talk, that's where it's coming from.
yeah, for sure, and I know that, but it takes someone to know. It takes one to know one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
If you ain't been through it, you wouldn't know. Or something similar, you wouldn't half understand. So
Right.
yeah, you gotta have been there to know it. And you know when you're talking about that and guidance or being, let's take the youngsters for example. You know what I'm saying? These young niggas out here wilding like motherfucker. Unfortunately, it ain't nothing that can be done as a whole. It starts in the house. What can be done is you showing yourself and your immediate circle, and it starts there. If everybody would do that, it would be a less of an issue to be able to show and prove outside of here. What I will say though is the main issue is that you got OG niggas still on the block, and you got young niggas doing better than OG niggas,
Mm,
and it's hard. You can't hip nobody on that you doing worse than.
mm.
That's the
Been doing
problem.
it longer.
Yeah, you can't. In my situation, again, it was survival. A lot of these motherfuckers are not doing it to survive. They're doing it because it's cool.
And that's the
So they think.
craziest thing.
So they think it's cool. They think it's popping. You know what I'm saying? They think it's lit, but it is not.
I don't know what happened. He'll be back. He'll be back. He'll be back. So until he come back, yeah, I just want to stress that though, Um, I don't know. I guess I'm extra, y'all. I'm very dramatic. Here go my bro. And to me, it's costing blood and tears. So to me, to correct it is gonna cause blood and tears. Sometimes you gotta go to war in your own community to get some structure back in it because more important than any one man's life is order.
Yeah, straight up.
I ain't out
And
there, so I can't say, you know.
I'm gonna use this as an example, man. I got a partner that's locked up. He got 35. I'm not gonna go into why he got what he got,
Right.
but I've been off and on, checking on this son. That's I'm to him. Um, and he was going all down the wrong paths and everything. He was getting in trouble, this and that, and the fact, and all of a sudden, he was like me. He ended up fighting this grown dude because he simply walked outside his apartment and seen the dude slap the shit out of a girl. Yeah, he was liking on the girl, but he seen a guy, back fist the girl, and he stepped in as a man and fought the dude, ended up getting locked up. Um, they were trying to fucking railroad his ass for that simple shit.
Wow.
Ultimately, I ended up getting him a lawyer, getting him bailed out, taking care of that situation, got it dismissed or whatnot. All he had to do was community service, take anger management or whatnot. Even though he was a stand up nigga and raised that way, um, as a result of that, he told me, he was like, man, I honestly thought it was over with for me, and all I was trying to do was be a good dude and take up for a chick that I was
Or a
liking.
woman.
Um,
Right.
I told him, which you should. You should. There's no way that fuck all this mind your business shit. Uh,
Right.
if a woman is in need and getting beat up on by a nigga, you need to be a man and go handle that shit and get that nigga up off of her. Even if you get your ass whooped, you know, get a man shouldn't
Level
be
the
doing
playing field, man to man,
it.
especially if
Yeah,
it's in your
straight up.
community. This is in your proximity.
For sure. And I've had to step in before, and in the same situation, I've had to step in. Um, with that, again, he was like, man, I thought I was doing right. I don't know why this, judge was trying to do this and that. I was like, son, don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? He can't relate to you and where you come from because ultimately he's a judge. He may have come from a picket white fence neighborhood, spoon fed everything, come from Harvard, etc., etc. He ain't coming from the hood like you, seeing women getting raped and raped, etc. Uh, he don't see shootouts every day. He don't see dolphins walking down the street, etc. So he can't relate to you. So you can't expect him to understand. However, now that you are out, even though this is real simple, it's not a hard case where you got caught with dope or got doing wrong. You was being a stand up guy and got caught up. Now you know, actually, he's in the fucking army. He's overseas
Let's
and
go.
doing his thing. Been in the army for I want to say about. He should be coming home. Yeah, he on his fourth year. He on his
And this
fourth
is
year.
why I
This
have the
should be-
respect for you that I have. Because imagine in your absence, right? Imagine in your absence, he'd have had to go through that and probably had ended up in the system. That would have
Yeah,
changed the course of his life. He probably would have
exactly.
been one of the YNs that people say, you can't do nothing with them niggas, man. You got to let them do them. If they have an OG, because you said it's OG still on the block. No, it's old niggas still on the block. They're not OGs. Something comes with that title. Um, if OGs are there to give some kind of course direction, redirection, some show them some actual love, show them that they are valuable enough to look out for. You could change the course of people's lives like that. A lot of these children who end up being the YNs that's air quotes here, the problem is because everybody felt the same way about them a lot of the time.
Hmm.
It ain't all the
Yeah,
time, but a lot of the times it's because everybody felt the same way about them. Just let them do them. Since when do
yeah.
we as adults just let children just do them?
It ain't no such thing. Um, it shouldn't be no such thing anyway. I mean, it is, and that aids to the problem. It aids to the problem. Um, a lot of people got a problem with Charleston White. Um, I don't. The only problem I have with him is him snitching in the first case. In the very first case he was
Yeah,
involved in.
the silver.
Um, yeah, there's a difference from being a civilian and telling.
A
Then
civilian can't
actually,
snitch.
yeah, and actually being involved with and telling. That's the whole difference, and that's the only problem I have with him because he was involved way back when he was younger, uh, in a gangster situation, and he told it. Of course, you gotta stand on that. It just worked out for him, and again, it don't correct what he did. He snitched, and that was fucking wrong, as all outdoors. But I will say that outside of the internet antics that he's done, he do say some real shit. Now, do I agree with everything? I disagree with 40% of the shit that he say and how he carry himself, especially when he talks about the women and his wife. When he talk about his wife, and he did a recent interview that went viral saying that he does, a man is a dog, and you got to worry about you, don't worry about me. You asking me where I'm going and where I'm, this and that and the other. I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna go out there and fuck a bitch, and while I'm out there, no sir.
He
Do
teach the
I?
disrespect of women.
You know, I agree. I agree with, hey, yeah, if I'm married with you, you should have enough trust in me to know that I'm not going to do anything out of line of our covenant. You know, and you are a part of the covenant, and I'm not going to break that. I do agree with that. I don't agree with the other shit. Uh, I don't even agree with him saying that uh I wouldn't cheat either. No, I know for a fucking fact and lived it where I've seen a woman save herself for that one individual. I've seen that woman get fucked over. I've seen that woman still stand and move forward with all of the obstacles that she had to deal with health issues and things of that nature, and still be able to, you know, hold it down. I've seen that. So I can't agree with that at all. I can't agree with that at all. Um, did that person make a mistake about certain people that she dated? Yeah, we are human. Uh, Especially women are more nurturing and emotional with their decisions. That's how y'all are wired. That's cool. That's what's up. Which is more, in turn, and dire and important for us as men that care to be able to act out as we are wired, which is to protect and to provide. Um, I'm a firm believer in that. But again, through all of the propaganda, through all of the television, the videos, the social media, all of the instruments used to deter true purpose, that just makes it that much harder. And then it makes it even more harder when you just give your kids a fucking tablet and just let them go in the room and shit without
Right.
having that physical conversation with them and interaction with them on a regular. And I do mean on a fucking regular, because it ain't no. Let me tell you, man. Let me rephrase this. Um, Shout out to all of the single moms. First and foremost, slump love y'all.
And
I
the single
first love,
daddies.
and the single fathers. No homo. Pause. I don't love y'all. I love y'all as brothers. Let's correct that.
Madam love
Uh,
y'all.
you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's difficult to, you know, raise kids by yourself. Um, it's hard not to be selfish at times too. When you're dealing with the upbringing of offspring. Um, I will say that I've firsthand witnessed the struggle a little bit, as and not monetarily, but the struggle is as far as implementing right upbringing, as far as implementing the understanding of, hey, don't, this is why you shouldn't do this in this situation. Remember that. What I find is, you know, without repetitive influence, your kids will forget. And that's because they kids. And sometimes they'll mess up. The boy, when they mess up, they gonna come back and talk to you about it. And I done had these conversations with all of my children, and also all of my god kids when they were living. Damn, I miss y'all. Damn. Shout out to my god kids, man. I miss y'all. But anyway, and the other adolescents that I've had a partaken in raising or giving some type of advice to and taking care of, it's hard to, let them go, experience their life for their own. It's easy for you. It's easy for guys to, for with the boys. The boys gonna go out there, bump their head. They're good. Do a couple push-ups, dust themselves off, and they back in the crib. But dealing with the females, it is. I'm territorial. I have to deal with that with my oldest, and then I'm dealing with that now with my youngest. My youngest, and my youngest is smart. She done been here before. She done had to fucking be here before, man. I knew that at fucking 3 years old with her, man, and I knew she was here because she catch on too damn quick for a kid. She catch on too
Got an
quick,
old
and
soul.
yeah, I've been trying to figure it out. I'm still figuring it out. I asked those Dave Chappelle questions to see if she gonna connect the dots that she ain't supposed to. And she doing
Hmm.
more than that. She doing more than that shit. She fucking lining the motherfuckers up herself in front of
Yeah,
me.
that's how my grandbaby
And
do.
and when you get to the point where you try to have a conversation and she finished your sentence and gives her explanation, that's some dangerous shit. I mean, whoever chooses to spend the rest of her life with her and she choose is gonna get the fucking business. Square business. He gonna have to be upright for sure. Which my main thing with that is she's gonna be able to take care of herself. And that's my main thing. Make sure my kids are able to provide for themselves, take care of themselves without nobody help, not even me. Uh, and I can already see that she's gonna be all right. But damn, you gotta
Now,
be.
you
Go
touched
ahead.
on your god kids. I thought of them the other day. If this is the same group of god kids, I think you're talking about the Carolinas.
No, 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 no. That's kinfolk. That's cousins. That's the
Okay.
kinfolk. I lost. You know that situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
So what
my
I'm the reason they
my.
came to mind though, bro, is because remember when that was going on and we said it was the natural, it was something that the United States wanted. That
Right.
particular landmass was okay, they just went with their move. Look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Mm-hmm.
you already see it?
Yes. Yes. And you know who brought that to my attention?
Oh,
My kinfolk that's locked up.
when I saw that a couple of days ago, said, Lord, I gotta tell Slump.
Hmm.
But it
Yeah,
slipped
I
my
kind of saw
mind
that.
until you just said,
I saw that, and I went into immediate anger. I had to seclude myself for a while because I had the kids here. It really pissed me off. It really pissed me off. But again, I had to come to the realization of things happen for a reason, and I can only control what I can control.
right.
So that.
And that's
The,
why we study to show ourselves approved. This is why we dig deeper. So we can actually try, we can actually have a little more armor on, a little more safety provisions for ourselves and those that we love now and those that'll be after us. You got to
yeah,
understand the game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's man. Nah,
Understand the game and position yourself accordingly. And then you got to teach it to the generation under you so that they can take that as a foundation and continue to build on it and grow it and add extra levels of protection for the future.
yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's you gotta look at it and put it in your perspective and know that you are um fortunate. I'm not trying to I'm not gonna I'm getting away from using the word blessed because
Capable.
that is a uh spell trigger. Um, you don't want to be less than anybody, and that's what that says. So I say, I try to keep, I use the word fortunate uh, in that case. In that case, uh, even though I don't want, I kind of want to feel like the word fortunate is a spell trigger too, because it says fortune 8.
Mm.
So I kind of don't want to use that word anyway, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Um, in that regards, I'm a work in progress family in all aspects. So forgive me if I sound little thrown right now, but I'm a work in progress in all aspects and trying to straighten everything out. Multiple beings in a steel bar. I'm trying to iron out. So, but nah, you gotta. So you gotta make sure that you are that example when you're called upon. For the simple fact you have the slightest idea of who you entertaining at that moment. Uh, whether it be a demon, whether it be an angel, or whether it's a soulless entity or not. Put your own title on that. Either way it goes, ultimately your reality at some point is meaningful for a reason. So at some point you're gonna be assessed. Let me put it like that. And I done done so much wrong. I done done so much wrong. It ain't enough correcting that I can do. However, with the understanding of knowing now and being as I don't even want to say lucky, but being that I'm still breathing and able to make good. Let me put it like that. That's what I am doing and will continue to, um, especially with the shit I done been through. I ain't got no choice. I ain't got no choice but to help. It's just in me to do that, because I've been there with no help, and ultimately as men, we don't get the privilege of anybody giving a fuck. And we can't give a fuck just because we ain't hardwired that way. We are hardwired to provide and protect, and we ultimately got to end up eating everything and absorbing everything for the sake of everything that we are taking care of in our immediate situations. So yeah, it's that right there in itself has me carrying myself a totally different way. Um, and I guess I would say that's why uh, I have a different type of aura that regurgitates from me uh, with people, and I don't mind it because I know it's just a format of therapy, and also being that I do care, and I actually genuinely want to see the best out of everybody that I come in contact with. I have no choice but to be that you can do it, that inspiration and encouragement. Uh, no matter whether it's
I
just
feel
a,
a little favored. I feel a little favored to be able to call you bro.
I
I do.
appreciate that for sure, for sure. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And likewise,
And I,
likewise.
I I disagree with you. I think that you can balance the I think that you are balancing scales. Because I think that sometimes some of those things that we measure ourselves according to, it might have had a little shit in it. And so some of the things that we were taught we shouldn't do is this and that. Sometimes It's necessary. And
Mhm.
we might have just been taught wrong for the sake of historic events. I'm gonna just leave it at that, like that. I think you are
So
tipping the scales, and I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that. It means a lot. It means a lot, and I appreciate that. And I'm definitely gonna be me and continue doing so. Um, with that, I'm definitely gonna continue to
It
do
ain't too
so.
late until you're not here no more. As long as you wake up in the morning, that means that a higher power decided that you were worth giving the opportunity to change the trajectory in your life, to do something else. And every morning you
Yeah,
get up and
for
decide
sure.
to do that. That's what
Yeah,
that
for sure.
is.
Definitely see fit. Somebody saw fit
Correct.
to
Because
allow you.
if you
You know what I'm
had
saying?
done too much wrong, you'd be gone. You'd be gone.
Man. For real. For real. For real. That's legit. That is legit. That is legit. And nah, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. That definitely. I was about to go on to something. Nope. We
Mm-mm,
got.
nope. Leave it be.
I done
You
got
ready to
plans for that
close?
before. I
Are you
got.
ready to
We
close?
yeah. We definitely can.
Think we reached
We
that
definitely
point.
can. Yeah,
Okay, so
we
in closing, what do you want to say to your listening audience that are watching live? They catch the replay.
well shit. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. You fuck around and get rich on purpose. I mean, you fuck around and get rich by accident if you keep hustling on purpose.
Mm, mm.
I'm gonna put it like that. Keep grinding. I've been noticing a lot of the family in the sector has been, um, approached with new endeavors. I've seen a couple of people that been missing and to pop back up, say shit. I got this new gig going. I got this new opportunity going. I'm working on this new business opportunity. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I commend everybody that I've seen and congrat everybody that is experiencing that change to get that bread. Continue to chase that bag because it ain't gonna chase itself. Us men, we got shit that we gotta handle. We gotta provide and protect for what is ours, and we gotta continue to change for the better because we know we ain't right in all that we do. However, if there's an ounce of righteous that's going on, that righteous will spread just like cancer. So I'm gonna leave with that. Ladies, again, shout out to the moms, the single moms, single fathers out there, man. We in this together. And for those women that are out there going through issues right now that you might not feel like you got someone there to love you back, or if you dealing with someone where you feel like you by yourself, you is not by yourself because Slump love you, and that's for
Mm.
real. I got your back. I'm there for you, and I mean that because I understand that it can get lonely out there for y'all sometimes, and you definitely don't have to lower your standards in order to obtain love, because ultimately it might not be your time for someone to love you. You might need to love yourself first. So once you get that
Mm.
into your mind to where you put you first, I guarantee you the beauty, the sexiness, and the aura that you will give off will attract that one king that is deserving of your time.
It's a whole motherfucking word.
I
Bro's
light up
gonna
to
tell it
that.
to y'all like that. I'm gonna say, Deezy bitch, wake up. You don't love you. If you don't respect you, nobody else gonna do it. Not now, man, friend, child, none of that. Williams say it's called the esteem of yourself. So, closing, I just want you can get the bag, not know what to do with it. Slump is teaching you, dropping jewels to assist you. Get in the bag, keep in the bag, passing the bag down, taking the
For
bag
sure.
for you.
For
The
sure.
goal is to
And
work smarter, not harder.
and I would say this. I would say this too. Also, family, I'm gonna reiterate if it's any topics that y'all want to discuss, like we normally do over in the quarters, shit, just let Miss Madam know. Let us know. We'll discuss it. We'll chop it up, and make it beneficial to your ears. Like I said, I don't know everything about everything. However, I'm intrigued to know what my family know that could help me become a better person, a better leader, uh, and a better man in general. So,
Righteous. So if you watching live now or you catching the replay for the next couple of weeks until further notice, Slump Knows will be on Monday mornings at 10 a.m. If you have anything that you want to expound on along the lines of what we're talking about, something to pour into our listeners, something to educate, or if it's something that you would like to know more about, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the comments. Tell us. And at the end of Slump Knows, he does open up the panel for questions and discussions. Be a little more engaged. Let us know. Let's build. We're building over here, y'all.
for sure, for sure. And at the same time of us building, we got to make sure that you got some type of money in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? The word broke is in the past. We can't be stuck in the and we can't be uh, contingent, and we can't be stuck in convenience, so to say, and content with not having. We got to go out there and get it. We got to be able to provide the best of our abilities for ourselves, because you deserve the best that you can grab a hold to within your circle. And then your kids most definitely deserve the best that you can provide them emotionally,
You deserve
financially, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
it. What else? I was just singing your background.
Crazy.
Right. Right,
For sure
y'all.
though. For sure, yo, y'all, for sure though. I love y'all though, for sure, for real. And if you're a young lady out there, man, and you ain't got no man, you got one in me. You can fake it. You can say it. You can say you fuck with Slump. It is what it is. But not, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to you. Ain't nobody gonna do
Yes,
nothing to
I
you.
am. And I'ma correct that shit, bitch. You better be righteous. Cause his little sister thought off. And I will correct you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I will correct you, okay? So y'all again, you see Slump Cash App up at the top. He hate that. He do not want me to do that. That's not something he want. In fact, he spoke against it, okay? This is his hard-head ass little sister saying.
For real,
If
because I
you
don't
feel
even know
like
who I'm
he
like,
is
what the
enriched your world, then even if
because
it's
I'm
just $1 with a note, just leave the note to let him know. Let him know that, man, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? It's more about the gesture than the money.
Because that show was like, what the fuck is that? How the fuck? I'm like, hell no. That's it. This hard motherfucker. She did it anyway. I'm like, hell no. But it is what
Said,
it
sis,
is,
just
though.
put your cash out.
Yeah,
Y'all know
yeah, yeah.
y'all know I go for the best panhandler of the year every year. So you gotta know it means something. When I ain't got my cash out nowhere on here. I ain't
Oh
set a
shit, for
goal or
real.
nothing. Yeah.
For real, shit. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't, I definitely don't, I don't do it for no monetary gain. I am good. I am solidified and content. I don't do this for that. You know what I'm saying? I express what I can to help someone genuinely. So,
And it's received, which is why, again, if it's just a note, if it's just, I just want you to see that you are valuable and appreciated.
and it's much appreciated.
Y'all ain't got to go
About
home.
helping
Have they hit your cash app at all, bro?
might be. You know. See, I ain't got it connected to this phone. I got like seven phones. You know me, I'm
Okay.
I'm on some more shit over
Mm-hmm.
here.
Because
I ain't checked
listen.
that phone.
Okay. Well, thank y'all. Y'all want to talk. Y'all ain't got no questions or none of that. Go to the store because now it's time for me to smoke. It's time for me to smoke. It's time for me to go outside. My rooster cutting up. I think they're ready to free range a little bit. Go
Which I should
outside.
have had, which I should have had the self control, the weight to do up
Yeah,
here from
yeah,
it, you
yeah.
know.
But that's okay though. That's okay. It
You
still
know what
worked
I mean?
out. It
Yeah, for
still worked
sure.
out.
Yeah,
If I
yeah,
would have
yeah,
woke
for
up
sure.
on time, then that probably would have happened. I got up. I was waking up and going back to sleep. By the time I woke up, I had missed the 9 o'clock alarm. It was like 9:40 something. Okay. I was like, fuck, going to office. Yeah. So I'm behind. Gotta play catch up now.
Already. Already.
Really.
Understood.
And if you
Salute to
take
y'all.
their asses out, y'all ain't gotta go home. Y'all got to get the fuck up out the
In the city, I know that this killer be killed. Either be ate, snake to be snake. I walk out alone, but I'm clutching my drink, cause I know they ain't right and I know that they fake. And I'm trying to look tough, but I know that these niggas be snitching and pointing me out to the jakes. When I gun at a nigga on aim for his waist, I'ma make sure he hit and stand over his face. Now they take that they mad cause they don't got no case in this first 48 and they ain't got no lead. While me and Lil Bro, we back smoking on trees. When you break down the wood with that bitch, now I'm lean. When I'm smoking your partner, I turn to a fiend. I ain't throwing the doobie, I'm facing the weed. When I'm smoking your partner, I turn to a fiend. I ain't throwing the doobie, I'm facing the blunt. No cap, let hummus some rats. When it's time to go kill, while black on the hunt. We do shit our movies, but this ain't a stunt. Wrong move, turn this bitch to a scene. I high off the shrooms and I mix it with beans. Wide awake, seeing shit from my dreams. Moving slow cause I'm full of the lean. Catch the boy lacking, turn here to some green. I'ma tell you the truth, I'm high as a bitch. I'ma lie to the judge cause I'm never asleep. I'm rapping and trapping till I'm old and rich. I'ma buy me some land and duck off with my bitch. Tryna sort out my price and get found in the ditch. With a face full of maggots and half full of mud. I don't care what you reppin', don't call me your blood. Put in work for the set, they gon' die by the cuz. Tryna get up your name, you gon' die by some buzz. I was just in the trenches, I know where I was. All it take is one Drake, man, them bitches went wild. I was down on my dick, I just still in our car. I pop a few bosses to send me to mall. When I woke up in jail, I had to take a little pause. You a change on your gang, I'll die for the cause. No cap, I'ma die for the cause.
They get back a motherfucker.